Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining the solution. I'm going to allow everyone to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Mistaken from Cheat Critique on Fridays at 9 p.m.
Hey, y'all, how
I'm
you
Trigger.
doing?
Go ahead. You go ahead. You already started.
Okay, thank you. Hey guys, it's Lady T or at Lady Mobilat on Instagram. Hey.
What's up, y'all? It's Trigger Mike. At Trigger Mike Show on YouTube and Instagram. Holla at me.
Hey, I'm Curse for Life. I'll be moderating tonight. So let's get into the first topic. Um, oh, Happy New Year, everyone, by the way.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New
Everyone
Year.
have a good New Year.
Yes. Happy.
Anybody go out or did y'all just stay in?
Um, let's listen.
Okay. What about you, Trigger?
No, I stayed my dusty self here with a Fat Tuesday extra large daiquiri and whole
Ooh,
house was sleep. And that's how I
that's
like to
good.
do things nowadays. Hella
Nice.
boring, hella safe.
I
That's the best
hosted.
way to be. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like I'm
Oh,
past
I
the age
know. I know.
of now.
I've done my time in the streets. I'm a homebody now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I ended up hosting New Year's, get together at my house. I'm still recuperating,
Oh, you
but
had a little party,
I
Miss Taken?
I had a great time too. It was low key, but it was fun, and safe. My kids, came home. They came over, brought their, significant other, and then they brought friends, and then I had family and friends. So yeah, it was cool. I
Nice.
enjoyed it. I don't
Okay.
have to cook for a few days. Yay!
Nice. You got them leftovers?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Always great.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get into the first topic. How do men feel about dating women with children?
If you are the problem, the man that you attracted is the problem. Because you the problem. Energy meets energy. That's why I said you have to match his piece. If you are attracting a man who is a problem, then sis, the problem is you. Because there's women out there in my organization who don't even meet the energy of a man who is not a good man because of who they are. They don't even meet that energy. And if they do, it's like water and oil. It just falls away and boof, it's gone. So women that talk about the men are the problem, no, you're the problem. You're the liar. You're the cheat. You're the person with.
How do y'all feel about that? Do y'all agree, disagree? I mean, I'll save my thoughts for last, but I'm gonna let Miss Taken start it off. And if you're not ready, then Miss Lady over here looks like she might have something to say. So
No, it's okay. So I actually agree with that. I think that the energy, that you put out is the energy that you attract. Now I know certain things are not like exclusive like 100% all the time. Sometimes you do end up, a partner that may need some more self-development, things like that, that have issues that you weren't aware of initially that come out later on. But I think for most of the times, I do think that we attract what we put out because your energy is going to be recognized by others that put out that same energy. So if you find that you consistently are in relationships with, toxic people, the only constant thing in each of those relationships, that common denominator is you. So at some point, you have to do some self reflection and be like, why do I keep ending up with guys like this, or women like this? And I think it's you at that point if there's a consistent pattern of behavior of women or men that you end up with in relationships.
So I agree that if you are engaging and entertaining um problematic people, that you're the problem. But attractive people attract all kinds of people. So just because I'm attracting people from all walks of life, people with all kinds of things going on, that don't necessarily mean that I'm the problem. If I were to be comfortable dating and entertaining that person or engaging with a person that I know is not good for me, then I'm a problem because I'm not valuing myself enough or valuing my peace enough to not be entertaining certain types of relationships. But to make it seem like a person like this whole law of attraction stuff has people in a chokehold because everyone gets to try to say, you know, uh, okay, so let me preface this by saying we're all responsible for every obstacle that we've gotten ourselves through, right? I'm not going to say we got to pass the buck or nobody else is to blame. Absolutely not. But folks trying to make it seem like just because they understand that you attract a reflection of what you are means that everything that comes your way is your fault. No. Everything that you engage though and everything that you entertain is on you. But no, you can't. I'm not about to be taking responsibility or accountability for anybody else's character flaws just because they tried to like act like they were someone else. So put up a representative for me. Nope. Not doing it.
What's up, Trigger? What you got on this one?
Man, I took notes. Let me stop. But seriously though, to your point, Lady Mogulette, I'm not sure the spirit of this the post or the thing that she was saying was the people you attract. Naturally, attractive women are going to attract a multitude of people. Everybody's going to shoot their shot at an attractive woman. It's more of an approach. What kind of approach do you attract? All right, a girl who got on, cutters, you know what I'm talking about, those type of shorts, and women are doing what? They're wearing no bra out, really sheer looking things so you can see their nipple rings. You're going to attract a certain type of approach, and some women accept that approach. I think that's more so what she's talking about. That's where the problem comes in, because if you are not, first off, why are you wearing that? I love how women who wear stuff like that try to say, why is everybody pushing up on me? I'm a respectful woman. No, if you're dressing like that, you invite that type of approach and then you accept it, therein lies the problem. So I do believe the statement is 100% true, naturally true. And here's why. I think modern women in America today behave as if an effect has no cause, right? It's almost as if these things are just happening. No, if you invite that type of man over to you and then you entertain him, like you said, that is the issue, right? Because it's the attention that people are so thirsty for. As a man, or should I say in this particular scenario, the hunter, as a person who's doing the hunting, I already know the type of way I'll be received if I approach a certain type of woman. If I'm reading all of the nonverbal cues she's given out, if I'm looking at the way she's dressed, if this isn't my first time meeting her and I've been able to study the way she carries herself, like let's say in college, me and girls that had classes together, that type of stuff. You know what I mean? I know the way I'm gonna be received when I approach her. Of course, you can ask your boys; they'll tell you, "Nah, go for it, dog. She she wide open." They'll say all type of things because they know that's the approach that woman accepts because she dresses that way, she puts herself out there like that, and that's the energy she attracts because that's the energy she puts out. She doesn't look like she takes herself seriously. She's very superficial in nature, and we've developed an archetype of woman we want to sleep with and not take serious in our minds as men, right? So I definitely agree that mindset, like of having, carrying yourself like that, is what creates that problem for women, and they can't get out of it, right? I believe they go past the threshold where they're such closed-minded daters, right? That's the type of man you like, the man that's approaching you. He's obviously toxic, but because it's the one you keep getting, you just keep waiting for a good version of that, even though it's never going to happen.
Okay. So I agree to a degree. I kind of agree with Lady, like as far as like if you're an attractive person, you can't really help who might be interested in you, right? But I think it's more so of who you allow to be in your space and who you keep there. Like I believe it, it's ridiculous to believe that an ancient person might not run into you, but it's about like, do you allow them to stay in your life? Are you going to let them pursue you? Like how long are you going to carry on? Like if you see red flags, are you dipping out, or you going to stick it out? Like so that's my thing. But like I think anybody can get caught up with the wrong person. And a lot of times people are showing their representative. People have this version of themselves that they like to show you at the beginning, because men love to say like, oh, women ignore red flags. It's like, listen, sometimes you guys are really great, and not just men, women too. People are really great at showing their representative, showing a certain version of themselves that they think that the other person might want to deal with. But then once you get down the line, like you can only act but for so long, but the more you deal with them, the more you realize, okay, maybe this is not who they actually are. So that's just how I feel about it.
Well, I agree, but that was part of what I was saying. When you see, like you guys touched on two important things. I think one what Trigger Mike said. I think what the essence of what she was referring to is not just people being attracted to you, but more so you entertaining
You
that
entertaining it.
attraction.
Okay.
So it from that perspective, then yes, you are responsible for that because you choose who you let in your space. The other thing, like I had said before, is also like, you can when you're naive and you're just starting dating, there are certain things that you may or may not know what to look for. So you can get got. But that was my point in saying that a constant pattern. So if there's a constant pattern of you continually ending up letting people in your space that are toxic, or are not in alignment with what you're looking for, then again, like I said, the common denominator in each one of those situations are you. So again, it falls back on you being attracted to a certain type that you keep letting in your space, and then you can't blame the other person, not taking accountability off of that person. But if they showed up showing you who they are, and then you keep choosing that same person over and over again, saying you don't like it, but yet you keep choosing it, then at that point that becomes a you thing and not a them thing.
Trigger, I got a question for you specifically because you're a male. I'm curious, like, because you said like certain women, like, you wouldn't even approach based off of the way she carries herself and things like that. But have you ever been like fooled by a woman? Like, have you ever seen a woman who you might be like, okay, she looks like, but then you find out later she might be promiscuous, or she might have like a dirty past that you don't care for? Has that ever have you ever got caught up by like maybe a woman's representative?
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I was never really lied to. I mean, sorry, women actually do that or try to do that a lot, but I was just lying to myself. If you go pat, like if you really look back, hindsight's 2020. I was lying to myself. It's just who I wanted her to be, or me trying to achieve, some whatever I wanted from her, and try and ignoring the red flags. To even call myself an adult, call myself mature, and as that type of person, that what I mean. I don't think I was ever duped that way. I think I was just lying to myself.
Okay.
Everybody shows you who you are, especially if you're um, well versed in relationships, right? So I didn't meet a woman like that that could qualify for. Ooh, she tried to switch up. I didn't meet a woman like that till I already had like 3 girlfriends, dated a bunch of girls, body count was hella hot. Like, you know what I mean? So no, I knew I just didn't care, you know, and I ignored it.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the first topic. How do men feel about dating a woman with children?
Mike, I think you should start that one first.
Man,
Situation, man.
I wish another dude was on the panel because I actually have a very, very jarring opinion on this. So I'll start this with a story, okay?
Oh boy.
Um, I hope she's not watching. A girl I went to high school with, you know, we all get married, but we can easily talk about other people that we've matched well with, right? And some reason everybody got that person where you matched well with them, it was just always the wrong time. All right. And she had a baby like maybe a few years after we got out of college, but then she'd always look me up, just trying to get that chemistry back. She's not with her baby father anymore. And because I had that feeling for her already, I thought it was something I could get over. So we started going out again. Things started to get a little, hot, and I kept falling off. And I thought it was because I was trying to live my life. And then maybe the third time we did that whole revolution, she had a come to Jesus moment with me, like, what is going on? I'm ready to be with you. This is destiny for us. We meant to be together. And I was like, it's because you got a kid, yo. And I can't get over it. To be honest, I'm more traditional of a male. I was raised traditionally. Every single time I had ever pictured in my life, my family, my kids look just like me. And the worst part about it is that tore up, that put us at odds with each other. She called, I'm not a real man. You supposed to step up, all this type of stuff. And I kept thinking, there's nothing wrong with a dude who's open to dating a woman with children. Alternatively, there is nothing wrong with me for not wanting to date a woman with children. It is not how I see my life in my culture. It's something that is 0.0001% done, right? So, yeah, that's really how I feel about it. It's not even my preference. I say that so much that I have 2 kids now, and if my wife was to leave me or she was deceased or something, I would still go get another woman without kids because I can. For some reason, we can as men, right? Very easily.
Trigger. You would have to be. You would have to be a woman in her early 20s, right?
So I mean, if we being real, I just left homecoming from my college. Okay, a few months ago. Mm-hmm. Most of the women I used to deal with, right, surprisingly, are still single with no kids. And my wife, she plays around a lot. I don't know. She loves to ask questions she really don't want the answer to. So what if I died, and who would you get with? And I just be looking out the corner of my eye like, you don't know how many people.
You bust down a few of the women that was at that homecoming.
Oh, absolutely not. So
okay.
That's the thing. But when I saw them, like, I could read eyes when you have on your sunglasses. Everybody looking at my ring fingers, like, he's still married. I unfollowed him when we broke up, like, that type of stuff. So, no, it like a lot of the women that I used to deal with, still single, no kids. I can get them back, and not trying to be like a braggart, but when you got like what I'm saying, chemistry like that, they're putting likes up there, they're making little comments on your children's pictures. They were like, you trying to I know what you're doing, but yeah, I could still get. I'm telling you.
You can't even
90 days. If I got divorced, I'd be married again in 90 days to a woman with no kids.
Oh my God. You can't even socialize on social media anymore. You can't show love without them thinking that you want to be with them. Like,
that's
damn.
Right. And that's how men do. They see you smile at them. They like, oh, I got a chance. Like,
oh shoot, she about to be my wife next week.
Ooh, my wife died. I'm on that ass tomorrow.
What?
That's great. I like how y'all could play coy. Y'all could play casual with it.
Women are more like worse at that than men.
What you mean, mistaken?
I do. I think a lot of times, especially with the social media, I'm not gonna say we because I don't necessarily put those pictures out, but where I've seen like pictures that were intentional to attract, right? To get that attention, and then you get a like or get a comment, be like, see, that's that dude. He want me, that kind of stuff. I've bore witness to seeing that. I think women's ego in that regard, sometimes we may read into it a little more than like kind of like what y'all was saying. That a guy is interested in, because actually we did have a conversation about this a while back. I can't remember if it was on Sheet Critique or if it was on here, where some of the girls were saying, yeah, if a dude is liking your picture and they go way back, then they interested. Something along those lines.
I need
Listen.
neon lights.
Listen.
I need signs. I need
Hey,
One-
Chan, hey, Chief.
hold on. One of the reasons, because
I like you. Ain't
I
gonna
need
be
y'all to stop the cap right now, okay? Because this is where ladies get into trouble, trying to act like y'all can't read or y'all don't know the signals y'all are putting out. And maybe y'all don't know. Maybe y'all are doing it subconsciously. I used to be a big idiot about this stuff, and it cost me a lot in my past by being all nonchalant about it. Then I learned to read the timing in which y'all do stuff. Every anniversary, it's a bunch of pictures liked, and then a conversation. That week, some people hit me up. Hey, how you doing? Your wife's so beautiful. Your kids are so cute. It's the timing in which y'all do things. Close to a time you're supposed to see me, like homecoming. You start up little conversations and things like that. Men, after a while, I didn't get this gray for no reason. It's a lot of wisdom here.
Trigger.
I learned how to
Hold on. So just because a woman says happy anniversary to you right before homecoming means she might want to hop on that. Is that what you're
It is not that you said happy anniversary. It's who is saying happy anniversary. If you know there was somebody you used to flip over like a pancake, and that woman is low-key infatuated with you. So here's the real scoop on what happened with me. I was actively dating when I moved away. And for some reason that kind of made me more sought after in the group of women I was dating back home. So I moved to Houston and everybody was like, ooh, he looked like he about to get his life together. He got that big job. Let me try to be his wife. So a bunch of people coming out here visiting me, thinking that they were going to be that chick. Then my ex, who is now my wife, actually just moved here. And she basically won the draw. Right. So all of those women know, they feel a way about that. Like there was a big blowout. Like you must have been dating her the whole time. And when they felt like they lost, they told me what that was. They told me how they felt about it. So when these women say happy anniversary, they're not really saying it.
It's like a hint. It's a call. It's a call, right? Like, wait a minute. Y'all haven't had an ex double back on y'all as women?
Yeah.
Okay, so while we, whatever men do, there's something very similar women do. Like,
yeah, of course. No, that's not what I was saying though. I was just saying it's interesting that like we like socialize on social. Like, if I follow a person, I'm gonna show their page some love, not because I'm attracted to them or because
I think you may have missed the part where he said flipped her over like a pancake.
No. I got that after. But I'm saying, like, just generally speaking on social media, I'm not assuming that just because a person goes all the way back on my pics that he likes me. Like I said, I need neon signs. Like
there's no reason otherwise for him to do that.
With arrows.
Unless you're going through so I don't do that. Even when I do it randomly, I don't like pics because that you have to be reminiscing about somebody to go all the way back into their pictures and relive those moments. And let me tell you, because I actually told my wife this, so I have no problem telling this out. I said, she was like, how was homecoming when I got back? I was like, you remember that? She knows of her. This chick, just like we talking about, was all in my inbox saying, hey, what's good? What parties you going to? Trying to spark up casual conversation. Guess how she said hi to me when she finally saw me?
She kissed you on the mouth.
No, she put Nick. No. And I'm not sure I said that. You know what? Yeah, that'll cause a thing. She put her whole arm like around my neck, put her breasts up on my back, and then squeezed my butt.
I think she would have been better off kissing you in the mouth.
I told my wife about this. I told her about it.
She would have been better off doing that.
Yeah, but she pretended like she was drunk Tried to apologize late because this is me, like, what the, like, you know, doing the,
okay.
What the hell is that? And I'm like, why would you do that?
Why you front like you ain't like her putting her titties in your face? Don't act like you don't like.
No,
hey, look, I'm a titty man, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
All curves. I'm not even gonna.
Here's the thing. No matter what you got going on, doing stuff like that to a married man in public, I even feel bad. Like, yo, what are you doing? You making me look crazy out here. Like, I'm not reckless like that.
I'm giving you a hard time, Trigger.
Yeah, but I'm not reckless like that. So my wife not here. Whose titties are these in my back? That's all. That's all.
Question: why wasn't your wife there? Just out of curiosity.
So we got young kids, and we were supposed to set it up that way, but her father and his wife live here now, but we can't get babysitters every weekend. So most of the places we go right now is one or the other. Going, somebody got to watch the kids, you know. And I ain't been in years, like 4 or 5 years. So this was the first post-COVID when I was going somewhere.
Then I'm going outside.
I'm not sure if you heard where we're at, but like I want to get you as a male to weigh in. Like, how do you feel about dating a woman with a child?
Oh no. I don't think that's a good idea. Not because there's something wrong with the mother, like intrinsic, like the value of the person may not lesser, but the responsibility of the man increases to a point where I don't even know if it's worth taking care of. Like, the first thing that most men talk about, especially when having to be a stepfather, is where's my jurisdiction range when it comes to disciplinary things, right? That doesn't mean beating your child, right? Disciplinary can mean anything. But the problem with being in a quote unquote authoritative figure with no power is you look weak and no man wants to be there. So there's going to be moments when the kid is matriculating where they need some guidance. Maybe they do need a whooping, but if I can't handle it the way I think is best fit based off of my experience, I don't want to be in that situation. Not only that, I mean, you got a whole dad, like he got a whole father. The father's it makes relationships, which is already complicated, twice as complicated. I'd much rather avoid that instead of try to, I don't know, figure that all out.
Cheeky, what if you're with a woman who says, you know what, since you're the guy in my life, let's just pretend you were dating one, you're allowed to discipline my child if necessary. Would that change things, or you still like not with it?
It would change things, but then it would still depend on other factors, right? Like, okay, it's literally I don't think people realize how much of a lifestyle change that a man has to make if he don't have kids. Like, if he doesn't have kids, now he's got to adapt to not only a woman's environment with her raising a child, and if the father's not involved or is involved, you're combating two different cultures and household teachings. Like, there's a lot of different things that affect the child psychologically that as a man is putting a lot of burden on you. And the question becomes, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of me doing this? And is it worth it? And that's not to say the woman herself isn't worth it, but is this relationship and this extra responsibility worth the task of trying to figure all of this out? In most cases, I've from what I've seen and can identify, it's not, because they don't tend to last due to, difference of opinion. And she though he talked to her son wrong because the son was acting bad. It's just, or, hey, look, I'm trying to teach him this thing, but we don't agree on this, so I don't want you teaching. And it's already complicated enough, right? People break up because they can't even agree on what they like or what ideology they want to believe in. Why am I adding a child to that situation to make it even more complicated?
Yeah. So you brought up the key part of it, which is respect, right? So it's not even so much like, I got to think about it right now. I have 2 kids, and if I really, probably somebody from my past or somebody that I felt like I knew well enough, and she had a kid or 2, right? And I could get past it. There's still that issue of respect. And like I said, I was raised traditionally. And if I'm going to take on the stepfather role, it's almost going to be in like the terms of like the kinsman redeemer, right? Where you're just coming to take over a man's role who's not doing well or doesn't want to be there. And as such, the woman needs to respect that basically this is the children's new father. You know, the term stepfather is a technical term. This is the children's new father. So modern women do not have that type of respect for stepfathers. I don't believe so, generally. If you're not going to let a man discipline, and I mean strongly discipline your child against your advice, then he has no business marrying you. Because think about it this way. As women, you'll say, well, I don't agree with the type of discipline he gives. Well, you shouldn't have married him. If you can't trust his masculine instincts for discipline, then you should not have married him. My children are 3 and 5 years old. If my wife tells me I'm hurting my children mentally and I'm doing it in a pattern, she's more of the nurturer, and I will never overrule her on things that have to do with her expertise. But alternatively, she can never overrule me on discipline. That is my natural God-given gift and talent. It's one of my only jobs here. Okay. So if you're not going to let a stepfather do that, you got no business marrying him. And I don't think the modern woman is keen on that at all.
Well, I was going to say I actually kind of agree with what you were saying, Sugar Mike, in terms of I think, well,
Yeah.
it is all going to depend on, I think, one, if the other father is involved. Because I've been in a situation like well, I hate saying stepmom because I don't feel like that, but for technically I am. But when my husband and I, first got together, after we got together, his baby's mother had moved on and was in another relationship. But him being the dad, he took initiative. I need to meet who you're going to have around my kid. You know what I'm saying? And they had a conversation, like just a man-to-man conversation about, him, giving that respect, like saying, listen, I know you're going to be around my daughter, and I will hope that you will be respectful, and whatever that conversation was like. A man-to-man conversation in the sense of letting the other guy know that I am an involved dad. There's certain things that I am instilling in my child that I expect you, since you're with my baby's mom, to reinforce, right? If you're going to be there. So it wasn't like kind of like where they bumped heads, because it was just a matter of like making sure that you're reinforcing, her being respectful, being like those kind of things, just things that you would want to have a well-behaved kid. But if there were any major issues, the mom would contact, the biological father, and to be honest, he also didn't have an issue with the other father disciplining his kid, but because he was constantly involved, I don't think that they ever initially bumped heads. Same thing with me in the discipline. He gave me free reign to discipline, his daughter, but I felt very uncomfortable. Like I'm gonna leave that on you. You know what I'm saying? I'll be the huggy, kissy, let me kiss your boo-boo kind of thing. But when it comes to that, I just felt very uncomfortable, any kind of physical discipline. I would, do punishment and stuff like that. So I really think it has a lot to do with how the mom has set up the situation between both dads, if the biological dad is involved versus the dad not being involved.
You see, I guess you can already identify the dynamic between the stepmom and the stepfather, so diametrically opposed, right? Like as a stepfather, your jurisdictions is based on another man, potentially, right? Because that's not always the case, but potentially in most cases it is. And if you're a stepmother, your jurisdiction is based on the biological father, which gives you more leeway and more wiggle room to fulfill a role that you can fulfill anyway because it's natural to you, right? Being in an unnatural position as a man is never going to be comfortable or enticing. Like not being able to be a man and instill the things that made you a man to another child that you will see as your child, or the woman is hoping you'll see as your child as well. It's crippling. Like it just doesn't make logical sense. So if a person decides to do it, in my head, I think they're doing it out of the love for the woman or the love. It's not a logical decision to me, right? To me, the logical decision is make your own child. Then you have no blockages or potential blockages. You have free reign. It's your child.
Yeah, I'll let somebody else go. I'm sorry, because I was about to say something else.
No, I was gonna say I like everybody's perspective. And hearing from the men, like I never viewed it that way. But I get what you're saying, and I guess like what Miss Taken was saying, like I think there's a lot of things that play into effect. Like, is the father involved? Is he not? And I guess for me, like how I think of it is like if I'm with someone, then I'm going to give you the jurisdiction to discipline my child because it's now our child. We're raising them together, so I wouldn't have an issue with it. I didn't know that there was some women who are like, no, don't discipline my kid. You know what I mean? And you're living under the same household. I feel like, but yeah, I'm sorry, Miss Takey, you can go on. I just wanted to say that real quick.
No, I was just saying, like, even in a situation like my uncle, every woman he's ever dated has had children. And I guess I don't know if he's the exception to the rule or not, but that I think there are some men that's just does not bother them. But his first wife, she had a kid. And one of the things that I can say that I totally admire about how he raised, his children, whether they were biologically his or not, is that you would not have been able to tell the difference. And the reason is because he established that from jump with the mother. Like, listen, if I'm going to be involved in your life, I'm going to be the head of the home, and this is how I feel about discipline or whatever it is. He laid that foundation and gave that the women the opportunity to understand, like, either you can get on board with this or not. So it was clear, like, we're going to church every Sunday, we're doing X, Y, and Z, like everything. You would not be able to tell the difference between his biological kids versus those who were not biologically his. And even to this day, they all, like, they call him dad. Like, his first marriage didn't work and he remarried, and then that marriage didn't work and now he's remarried again, and third time's the charm.
No, you lost me.
No, third time.
I was like, way to go, buddy. And then divorce.
So third time's a charm. This is his last one. He's been good for years at this point. But my point being is, even those kids who, were, that he's no longer with their mom, that they still call him for advice. Like, as a dad, he still shows up in their lives like the dad, because that's how they were raised. I guess in his situation, since the biological fathers weren't involved, that's the dad figure that they had. And he still has, when I say a great relationship with them, he has a phenomenal relationship with them till this day. So I just really think it depends on how you as a man show up in that relationship, and the woman either is going to ride with it or not.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting that you said he dated multiple women with kids, almost like he went searching for them or something. But no, I think
it's hard to find women without kids now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women.
Yeah. No, in fact, I'm gonna leave it at that. Yeah, if he takes care of it, I think that's gonna be what most men are going to do that decide to take that on, especially from this generation. If 70% of the black men alive today were raised by single mothers, most of them will have no problem dating one. Right. So I think that's a generalization I can make comfortably. Yeah, I think it just goes back to, really, that's crazy. It's really on the ladies. It's really on the woman that you're getting with. It's great that he chose a woman and he was able to lay down the law and say that was probably a big part of his decision to continue the relationship. What relationship are you going to let me have with these children? Because I got a certain way of doing things, and if I catch a roadblock, it's over. So more power to him. Hopefully he stays the course. He's your uncle, so he might be third marriage, all these kids. He probably was 50s, 60s.
No, he's way older than no, he's in his late 60s.
All right, so hold it down. No reason to go anywhere now. So.
Yeah, he's well, yeah, he's been married to his last wife for a very long time. So yeah. But the second wife, part of the problem was the children. She showed up, like I guess what Kurt said earlier, as her representative. And then after they got married, then she didn't want to stay on the program. And the kids had a lot to do with that, because one thing he's always said, I will never have anybody run my house, period. And when it got to that point where it became that, it was just like, you got to go. And that was the end of that. So I respect him for that. He was absolutely right. But once he left, they found the impact that had on that dynamic, because he created structure, he created boundaries, he created all of those things that she did not do because she was a single mom. And they, of course, fought against that, but they needed it. And then years later, the kids, would call him, was like, we didn't realize how important that was, and we thank you for that. So I think if you show up, and you, like you said, are using your God-given abilities when it comes to children in terms of creating that structure and that discipline, they may hate you for it in the beginning, but long term, as they get older, they come back around and realize how important it was.
Shan, do you have anything you want to add to this topic?
10 minutes 45. I'm sorry.
Alexa.
She just will not shut up, now was she? Actually, I kind of heard a little bit of it. I guess we're talking about men who
how men feel about dating women with children, child or children.
How I feel about dating a man with children.
Oh, a woman. Like, how do you think men?
Well, I ain't never dated a woman with children, but I would assume. I mean, I personally think that women who have kids should date men who have kids of similar age. It just makes the dynamic easier. And because one, it'll promote him to get his kids more often. The kids play together. It's just an easier transition. As far as dating is concerned, I would also, but I'm of age, so I would say people who have children should probably date older. Most of the time, older men are okay with, because they too have children, and they probably don't want more children. And again, and if a person is the head of your household, if you trust this man to lead your household, then that involves your children as well. Why would you even be with somebody who you don't even trust, your kids with? Which a lot of women do, and they shouldn't. The men that they choose, I think sometimes women are so desperate to get a man, they just choose anybody, and it's like, what? Oh my God! You should always, if you're gonna have a man in your life, he needs to be a man who you want your children to look up to, the leader in the household, who leads by example. And this whole discipline thing, if the man is the head of the household,
okay.
Unless he's done something and I've seen it and it's of concern, which is not the norm. that's the only way I would see otherwise. But other than that, if especially little boys, they need a man in their life, and discipline is a big part of that. As well as girls. But I just don't understand that dynamic when I hear people say, well, oh, the whole thing about she not letting you discipline. But I would also say it takes a certain man. Not every man is designed to be the head of a household that already has children. And you need to know that some men are not kid people. They're only their kid people, and then there are some men who love kids. coaches, if they have kids spending at their house all the time, like they're the guy who likes kids. So you just got to make sure you choose appropriate. I know we elect the love and all that kind of stuff, but you want to make sure that you choose the person who fits compatibility in your lifestyle.
So
now,
Shannon,
have you ever met? I'm just curious. Have you ever met a man? Because I've met and heard these men. Not anybody I've dealt with personally, but I've heard there's like some men who they will have children but still choose not to date a woman that has a child or children. And like, is that hypocritical? Is that okay?
You say, well, now he had, and what's so funny about that is I would even argue that men need to be aware of women coming into their lives and they have children, because a lot of dads don't show up because they new wife don't want you around. They don't. They came in, they played house with you, like, oh, I love your kids, and then all of a sudden they don't want you to go pick your kids up. So you have to be cautious on both ends, both when you bring a woman into the house when you have children and vice versa. I think that people who have kids just need to, be cautious.
Yeah. To that, it's weird. To me, it's almost weird. The dynamic is completely different. It's night and day for men. We have a family friend with 4 kids. Before his wife divorced him, she just had twins.
Mm-hmm.
The number 3 and number 4.
Mm-hmm.
He was, distraught, thinking he's going to be alone the rest of his life. One of his colleagues at work, so he calling me like, I don't know what's going on, if she feels sorry for me. No, this woman liked him from afar, knew everything he had going on, and placed herself basically in his life, and they just had a kid. So when it comes to women, y'all propensity to want to help nurture and want to help take care, it shows itself a lot easier when a man has kids.
So what happens is dormant. So what she'll stick it out just because, but behind she's taught like I got friends and they talk about them stepkids, and I'm like,
well, yeah, I think we have a problem with people who can't vet properly and don't get the opportunity to know people, right? So that's one of the big things. People will say, "Oh, you should know in 6 months." I'm not. I made the statement that I could get married in 90 days, but I'd never do it to with a woman I didn't know well, right? So I feel like the day you get married, your wife or your husband should can get taken away for a federal charge, right? And you be standing in the arraignment like they didn't do it. I know 100% today. I'll bet my whole salary that they didn't do it. Everybody is not choosing somebody they can do that with. They get caught up in the moment of just having someone that they ignore all those red flags. I learned that not only from like YouTube, I learned that from watching people now. It's easier to say someone switched up, but terrible to say, nobody wants to take accountability to say they ignored the red flags.
I think that you're thinking it's just in your face, like she's mean to the kid, like Cinderella.
No, I don't think that.
It does. So the red flags aren't. It just shows up as her feelings may not be as deep for your kid as it is for her kid, or maybe she feels like you should be more hands-on in opposed to people think that this nurturing thing that women have is just so, and it's not. They're territorial just as well as men are for some of them. And to go back, and I would say it just depends on the person when it comes to the woman and the man, because we just saw the situation with Brian McKnight. He didn't buy his kids. I mean, according to the papers, he didn't buy his kid, but he was doing for his wife's kids who were not his biological kids. So we have stories for days. It's just all about the individual. But please understand.
Wait, but why is him not doing for? Wait, so are we assuming that that's like because she doesn't want him doing for his own kids?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying he's accepting her kids like his own. He's a good step. He would be considered like he didn't mind being a stepfather. So I'm just saying that they're out there. It's all individualized. But I'm just telling you that it is hard for women. Women accept it because if they find a good man, they love him so much they'll just deal with it. But trust and believe, women are the women. We're the ones who come home, have to cook and clean. If she does not have kids of her own, and she has to do it for yours, and she doesn't have, it's because she loves you. It's not as easy unless she's just a person who likes, because some people just love kids, they'll adopt kids, they'll do, because you have those people as well. We're not talking about that. But I think that men get caught up thinking that all women are just gonna, what they think is, oh, he's a daddy and maybe he didn't have his kid as often as the mom. He may have her every other weekend. But if you're one of those parents who are just involved as the mom where it's 50-50, so that's probably not what she signed up for.
I definitely agree. I didn't mean to make it seem like this is all women with this type of tendency. I'm just saying women are more nurturing than men are. That's a fact, right? And you have a mind for nurturing rather. It's if nurturing is your natural propensity, then discipline is mine as a father. This lady, but alternatively, there are women that are absolutely 100% willing to do that. I told you he was trying to tell this lady, you don't want to board this Titanic. And she doesn't say she's a mother of one. She says she's a mother of 5. She pays for their Christmas. Like, everybody is wowed by her. We at her wedding, like, yo, this is like there are women who are just like that. And he took the time, from my advice and a couple of our other friends, take a moment. Don't do that thing where it's like Superman syndrome in reverse. You just want to marry her because she's saving you now, because she, maybe she just want to move into your big old house, all that type of stuff. So we said that already. This lady is something from God. Like, God sent her to him. Like, you know what I mean? There are some women alternatively who are really about this life. Anything a man got, she will include it.
Of course, I mean? But the same can be true for men as well. You understand, because a third of marriages are blended families. We just read that last week, getting ready preparation. A third of all marriages is a blended family. Blended meaning he has people, she has people, they came together, the Brady Bunch. So not that many kids, though. I hope. Oh, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, I would rather raise my own kids personally.
Lady
you
T,
can avoid all this
like
about
last
by the
30
way.
minutes, Trigger Mike. Lady T, what's up?
That's okay. I'm listening, and slowly but surely all my points are being made, so I don't even have to say anything. But yeah, I understand from a man's perspective why it would be probably not as desirable a situation to go into a relationship with a woman with a child. I'm a woman with a child, and I wouldn't date a man with a young child unless the mom is no longer with us. So, like,
that was gonna be the next topic.
Like that?
Yes, the mamas is,
and you can answer it like as you dating a guy with a child.
Not her saying she got to be dead.
Subliminally killing me.
That's what I'm saying.
Or always
Hi, I'm Lady T.
Lady T said, yo mama gotta be
your baby
dead,
mama still got a pulse?
No. So would a man would a man or a woman prefer to be with somebody that, like, their child's other parent are not in their lives, like either passed away or
so let me clarify that, right? When I say a younger child, I mean elementary school and younger. Like, those are young babies to me. Like, if at that, because I love kids. Like, I naturally, you see that nurturing thing that you guys spoke about? Yeah, that's me. Like, and I work with kids. Like, I'm going to love on them. That's just how I am with the babies. So it's just not it's going to be too hard for me to not leave somewhat of an impression on that kid if, one, you're around your kid, right? And two, if you're not around your kid, I'm be looking at you like you're a little bit crazy, because this is a young baby. You're supposed to be in their lives at this point. So yeah, either you're going to be a full-time dad with your mom around helping, or your kids got to be older and out the house. Like, the one or the other, no in between for me. But that's my thing. I completely get what y'all were saying. I just wanted to add that. I know it's crazy, right? But
it's not. It's actually.
Chicken, what are you
makes
laughing
sense
about? You over there weak.
Because I'm still
so funny.
Well, it's the standard. She got to be dead. Like, I'm stuck on that. I wasn't expecting her to. I was just saying, like, I was like, man, she got to be. I was like, okay, maybe she's got to be out the picture. She can be in another state. No, she got to be out. She needs to be in the netherworld, somewhere else. She cannot be on planet Earth.
For a young child, otherwise, no. Like,
what's her name? Let me search her death certificate, please.
You don't want the drama.
Wait, hold on. So here's right. Here's the thing that we tend to do in like these general spaces. We tend to make every single parent a ghetto ass person. I don't think that's the case for every single parent. So I'm not saying that's what you was doing, Lady Mogulette, but when you say baby mama drama, I have a specific thing in my mind.
I didn't even say baby mama drama.
No, she said that, not you.
Yeah.
She said, yeah, Lady T, it's not direct towards you, but when I hear the word baby mama drama, there's a specific image that I see. And I don't think all single moms and all single dads is that way. I just think that, I think really a lot of the times it really depends on the situation. I need to hear your story. How did you get here with the child? And where's this person? Is he dead or alive? And then we can go from there.
Real of those stories be so loaded. There's so much left out. Like, there's people grow, people change from who they were at the beginning of that story to who they are after. So like, you just never gonna know until you know. And unless like I said, the mom is not around, or unless they have a very healthy dynamic, I just wouldn't want to be around or a part of it. And even with the healthy dynamic, humans are humans. And when the kid is too young, I'm just not comfortable, because I know for a very long time, even when I was done with my child's father, if I would have gave him the opportunity to do so, his ass would have came right on back. So I don't know.
So okay, so you're saying the reason you would prefer them to the mom to be out of the picture or pass is because, not necessarily because of the kid, but because of the relationship between the baby's father and mother. Well, of him potentially doubling back.
The age of the child makes a difference too. So that's part
a question for Cheeky and Trigger, because I know both of y'all are like, no single moms, no kids. But right. And I know, Cheeky, your reason was because what I remember, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you were pretty much saying because like the discipline and like the role you'll have to play, and it's harder and things like that. So let's say
and then additional responsibilities. Like,
okay, so if let's say that the father was dead, right? Or incarcerated, whatever, for life. Are you
well, I see incarcerated. Why are you dealing with a felon? See, we already not like linking up. Like, this is what I mean.
Example hasn't gone forever. Don't get too carried away.
Curse for life. Like, those things matter though. I'm not a felon, so I don't think we'll work out. Like, for example,
so no matter what.
So here, curse for life. Here's what I'm gonna say. Your dating resume tells me, or let me not. It doesn't tell me anything, because all the information I gather, I'm just going to imply. But your dating resume comes with certain implications. Okay. If your dating resume consists of felons, people like the baby, people who just no good, what do I look like joining that resume? If you have bad. Oh, he's decent. Why was he there? Like that? That looks crazy.
Dead, let's take the felon out of it. It's
okay.
Still a no.
How'd he die? Did he get shot?
No, he didn't get a shot. He got into a tragic car accident. Let's
Oh,
say he got
okay.
into a tragic.
Okay.
And she's a single mom, and you really feeling her. You don't know if she got kids yet, right? She got one kid, and you find out, you're vibing with her. Everything is cool, right? And then, you guys have that conversation. Do you have a kid? You might say no. I don't know if you do or not. And then you ask her, and she's like, yeah, I have a kid. What's the father doing? Okay, he passed away in a car accident. Are you still gonna go down that line? You like, she got a kid, out of here.
So probably still out of there, but
okay.
Again, the stories matter.
That's
to
fair.
me.
That's fair.
To me, the situation matters because I understand. Like, if a woman is married and she's been married for 5 years and she's got a kid out of a 5-year marriage, I'm even though it's still a no, I'm more receptive of like, okay, she at least went around. She at least took the steps that I would consider good steps in my viewpoint and my ideals, my ideology, and I'll go, well, maybe. But if she's somebody who maybe didn't go that route, I'll go, okay, so what happened? How did we end up here? And if she says, well, this is the person I was with, and at this moment in time, I was not mature enough, and then, I matured and realized he wasn't the right guy, and I was like, well, damn, you couldn't realize that before the baby? So, like, I got to figure these things out because these are the thoughts that men have. Like, okay, you matured, but it took you a baby to do that. How do I know the next maturation process is going to include me being kicked out? Or it's too many questions and not enough answers.
All right, so Trigger, you, if he's out of here, dead, single mom, you really feeling her? Are you taking it to the next step, or are you leaving it because she has a kid?
So I'm very team no kids, but
okay,
Cheeky brought up a very important point. If that child came out of I'm very much a stickler for the situation. If the child came out of a marriage, it's probably the only thing I'd consider. And I mean, I'd really have to be feeling her. Like, really have to be feeling her.
You gotta
and
be in love.
It's almost as if, exactly, I really if the child came out of a marriage, right? So when I realized that we have a huge promiscuity problem here in the West, in the US especially, even the women that you're feeling, when you see how nonchalant they are with their body and the way they try to treat men like they're disposable, that tells me a lot of, about the way you carry yourself. So it's almost, I make the same judgments when a woman's like, when she hates her baby's father. Like, I don't take that lightly. I think one of the things we've done in our time is men have trivialized sex and women have trivialized childbirth. I seriously cannot believe someone shot your club up. Like, you see what I'm saying? And that's not even the bad part. You then proceeded to birth the baby, but yet you talk trash about the dude like he ain't nobody. What does it say about you? Because I'm telling you right now, if my wife divorced me and my new girlfriend or the situation wants to ask me about her, I would never trash her name, ever. Because I'm the idiot that married her. What do I look like, trashing her name? So I really couldn't, I guess if he was out of the picture, I'm still team no kids, but that's the only way I could do it. If she was married and got that kid out of a long-standing marital situation. Oh, damn, did we make y'all speeches? I'm sorry. I knew.
No. I was wondering if anybody else wanted to weigh in. I didn't know if Shan wanted to weigh in or anything.
I like Lady T's faces. she be displaying.
She looked like she punched both of us if we were right in front of her.
What are you thinking? Lady?
Go ahead, get it out, Lady T.
Yeah, you got something.
I kind of, it's crazy because I didn't hear anything that was like so far fetched that I like disagree. It's just.
You dealing with level-headed black men. Yeah. We ain't yelling at y'all. Yeah, not yet.
Well, I need a question because y'all, I guess you answered about in terms of not, wanting women with children, but with Curves, with the other question, I'm just curious how you would respond if you were to enter into a relationship with a woman. Would you prefer that the biological dad be actively involved or not?
I would prefer he be involved. Yeah.
Does that take weight on your shoulders?
No, it's not even weight. It's not about
Okay.
weight off my shoulders. For some reason, I
Okay.
feel like it has a lot to do. The father being involved has a lot to do with the woman's level of trauma. So don't take this wrong, but I don't want no traumatized woman. I'm sorry. Like, chicks dig scars. Men don't dig them shits. So if you scarred up because, you got to count the scars on a woman. Not only did the relationship not work and they had a kid, he then left her. He don't answer the phone. He don't pay towels. This woman is scarred, man. She's scarred. And I don't know how this is going to turn out
Trigger,
for me.
I'm sorry. You off in the deep end. What?
Wait,
No,
hold on. That's not off in the deep end.
He's making sense.
No, that's making a lot of sense.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, you good, Curtis. I'm saying. Hold on, Curtis.
No, he said women dig scars, men don't. How do we dig scars?
Okay, first,
Curtis. Oh my God.
It's an analogy.
I like scars. I like some scars.
Right, like you ever seen?
It makes them
women love women love men who have been through things and made it through. You see what I'm saying? You just do. A man who has tribulations and still had his head held high and he's still going to work every day and he's still taking care of his business. For some reason, women will just jump on that bandwagon. In reverse, it's almost like, bruh, she's traumatized. This is going to manifest itself in a way that's bad for me somehow.
What's crazy is Black women don't get the privilege of not going through a go through before finding love. So that makes it. Of course, you don't agree because you
wait, say that. Could you repeat that?
I said a lot of Black women don't get the privilege of not going through the go through before finding love.
Okay, I'll oblige. How so? Do you mean like maybe with their own personal life, with their fathers or something?
I mean, whether it be with their own personal life, whether it be with their fathers or lack thereof, whether it be coming up in a single parent household with a mom that doesn't know how to show them how to show up in the world, whether it be making bad decisions or choices for herself because she doesn't have the guidance.
So I definitely agree with you on the part. If we're putting the starting line at when you leave your parents' home, even if that's a single parent home, I believe there comes a time where no matter what your upbringing was, everybody knows what the hell they're doing, and is making the conscious choice to go further in a situation that they shouldn't. You know what I'm saying? And I get it, but we cannot absolve accountability fully.
Never. No. You can never absolve accountability fully. I'm just saying it's just interesting that you gave that concept because it's true, or that metaphor or analogy because it is true. I do feel like, and like, whereas women, we admire or respect a man for his scars, men are almost like repulsed and like afraid of women that are scarred or wounded.
But that makes that make a lot of sense considering the consequences. Right, like the scars that come with women, or especially those that are hurt women, they tend to last for a long time. It seems like, or there's some serious repercussions. Like having a child is something you cannot get rid of unless you delete the child beforehand. But a man, when it comes to the scars that he has, even if he does have a child, again, the role that a man plays and the natural role that he has, it's easier for him to do with his own child and a woman coming to it that way. At least that's what it seems like.
And
I think that.
Go ahead. Can we let Shan say something real quick?
Yeah.
I think when you're saying scars, I don't think that necessarily just means through childbirth. I think that scars, period, with trauma.
Right.
So when you're talking about trauma, period, I would assume if you're the leader in the house, I would want you to be as trauma-free as possibly be. I don't need you to turn into this other guy because you have all power in your hands. So I find that to be a little. Now I agree with you. Say I think that you shouldn't date a woman who has trauma. That's not what I'm advocating for. But I don't want to. I don't want to sit here and say that the trauma of the man doesn't matter as well, because guess what? It does if you're leading a household, because a man can lead you astray. It's women right now because she followed the wrong man. So I think that too is important. Both are equally important. I think women are a little bit more forgiving even when they shouldn't be. Because there's times when I see women with men, I'm like, you shouldn't have forgave that. His past showed you who he was. So now you're surprised when you end up where you are. Like,
so I think it's just a difference in how manhood and masculinity is viewed from a man and from a woman. Like, as a man, trials and tribulations is a necessary step to overcome to prove some level of manhood. Although we may not have a level of what do you call it? Like a rite of passage. Like we don't necessarily have a rite of passage today, right? So the best thing for men to do is to go through something and show that they are resilient and can overcome it, because it builds a level of mental fortitude and it makes him quote unquote masculine. But a woman who does the exact same thing, we tend to see that person as masculine as well, because she has to be in a role that I don't think most women were designed for. Right. So if you meet a woman who's got all these scars and all these things that she's encountered, I'm sure she's going to behave a certain way. And that certain way to most men is probably going to be viewed as masculine or opposed to what it is that he wants. Because when you think of women, you think of soft. When you think of men, you think of hard. But the only things that can get hard is if you continuously beat on it. The only things that can get sharp is you continually sharpen it. But I've never seen a flower last in fire. I've never seen a flower last when the sun is just beating down on it.
So
if the flower does survive, it turns out to be like the hardest thorn bush in the world, and you got to break down. Well, I'm not gonna stick you. I'm not gonna cut you. It's just a lot.
So Cheeky took the words right out of my mouth. So that is the exact point. The thing about scars is that it does the same thing to all people. All right. So scars make you more aggressive, make you more aware, but they make you more emotionally resistant. All things that really have no negative downside for men. For some reason, women love trying to break through a cold ass man. It's weird. Like it just makes me more hard and makes me more attractive. I walk around like I don't give a shit, which makes you put your titties in my back. Like you see what I'm saying? It's weird the way women have that propensity to want to break through. I changed him, y'all. Like you see what I'm saying? Y'all know y'all are like that, but it has the same exact effect on women. So we look at you as, when a chick has scars, we look at you as less feminine because you've become emotionally resistant. You've become harder, more aggressive. Like naturally you guard yourself more and don't want to let nobody in. You see what I'm saying? So it has the same effect there, which makes men more attractive and women less attractive.
So I can agree to an extent. Can I?
Yeah, you can go. And then Shan, she was about to say something before Trigger, but you can go ahead.
Okay.
I don't agree with that. I think that depends on the woman. I think that sounds kind of, that's probably the half the crap that's going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's probably why we're in the situation we're in. I do not agree with that at all. Now, I do understand that you have to go through things, but it depends on what we're talking about. I guess the scenario, I just need to hear the scenario. There are things that people have to go through to learn, but we're not talking about hard things, bad character things that you just had. That was poor decision making, and you keep making poor decisions. And there are women who will bail you out of poor decision, but she's stupid too. Like, that's just dumb. So I think that's, I would have to hear the scenario. I get what you're saying, but in the grand scheme of things, I would have to hear what you're specifically talking about, because I would not agree that a woman wants a man who's just going through all these situations. Now, there are some women who do, but for the most part, a good person who has a head and a shoulder, who has both parents in her household, who was raised by both parents, don't want to hear. No, that's not what they want.
So both people, like whether male or female, man or woman, being scarred and not dealing with that scarring and that wound prior to moving forward, it's just not, it's unhealthy and it's dangerous for both parties. In fact, I think a woman's nurturing nature puts her at risk for enabling bullcrap and taking on dangerous wounds of men. You know what I mean? It makes her really susceptible to those.
Remember, we're not arguing that. We're saying attractiveness. So it just means a man is never going to be wanting for women when he has scars. Where alternatively, it makes a woman less.
Well, I think she was trying to finish up.
Yeah, and if a woman is wanting a man who's wounded in that way, she's probably way too wounded to even be ready for love, companionship, any of that stuff. So yeah, like scarring. But what I will say is that there are women that have gone through those things, and let y'all tell it, it hardens them. But there are women that have actually become so much more soft, like way more soft, way more passionate, way more vulnerable.
Where they at?
No, just
let me finish. Because the level of courage, the amount of courage that it takes for a woman to want to be vulnerable and open up after having gone through some things and after like having to face those things, it'll make a woman a little bit, you know, take
are you guys,
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Hold on. Are you guys unfamiliar with healing? Like, are you guys
no?
Okay.
Like,
so
I'm
again,
gonna be real quick.
She's trying to finish her statement.
Just really quick. Some people do seek healing. There are a lot of scarred people who take the time to heal. And when you heal, you are like renewed. You can become a different version of yourself. But not everybody takes the time to do that. You guys are talking about the people who are scarred, stay scarred, never took the time to address their trauma and deal with that. No,
that is not true. That's not true. What I'm saying is, you can address those things and those traumas, but the solution to that trauma may produce a hardened person. I think the probability of you. So, for example, when you think about when you get a cut or a scar, you scab. What does that process include? Your skin getting hardened. I think the same thing would apply to anybody if they're going through any form of trauma, because they're trying to make sure it doesn't happen again or that they learn from their mistakes. But let me ask you a question. How about this? Let me ask you a question. Have any of the women on the panel said men are too feminine today?
No.
Have you thought it?
No.
Okay, so you by yourself. Shan saying yes. Lady, what do you say?
I'm gonna go back on YouTube.
Okay,
they said
I know they said it.
I'm gonna go search right now.
Curse for Life has definitely said you soft, nigga.
Lying.
Oh no,
I don't really.
Ooh, the cat.
No, I don't really.
Did you? We can see y'all face when y'all answer. Y'all be like,
Shan. Okay, all right. So we don't have the proof right now, but we'll come back with it. Shan is the only one.
I wasn't sure about the question. You said, have we seen feminine men?
No, so how about this? Let's say, have y'all seen women say that men are too feminine today?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've seen it.
Absolutely.
Okay, and have you
panel right now?
And I was saying that, but I had to generalize it so we didn't make it specific. Okay.
I wasn't talking about y'all. I was talking in general. I thought you meant in general.
And
like
I was meaning that, but since
there are soft men out here, just like there's masculine women.
Okay, so we all agree that we've heard that this is a common complaint from women.
Right.
The question is, how do you think we got here? How do you think men became soft or feminine?
Well, I was going to say before that, because I see y'all transitioning into this conversation, but I just wanted to make the point or ask, when you were talking about scars and men, women, it doesn't matter if men have scars. I think part of that is part of the problem is that when men go through things, they don't necessarily heal from those things. They bring it into a relationship and those scars, and then inflict those scars on the women that they deal with. Then that relationship don't work. That woman has inherited those scars that have been inflicted. And now it just becomes a cycle because neither one are healing from that. And then the other question I had is, a woman or a man who has healed or worked towards healing those scars, I'm going to speak specifically for a woman, since you said this, Cheeky. I wanted to know, do you think that a woman healing from scars, is her resilience being confused with hard or masculine behavior? Because I think a lot of times when you learn from something, you learn to set boundaries. You learn, to not deal with certain things because you already been through the experience and know the outcome. So when you move forward, hopefully what you do is begin to set those boundaries so you can minimize those same mistakes again. Do you think men misread those boundaries as being masculine energy, as opposed to them, looking at it as a level of resilience?
No, I think the behavior is what tends to make a man think masculine or feminine, not necessarily the resiliency or the character built through said trauma, right? So, for example, if a woman has gone through something, but she's still soft-spoken, still kind, still have a servant's heart, that woman, in most cases, we would assume, hey, she may not have been through anything because she still is still displaying these feminine characteristics or behavior. But the women that are really hard, we're like, okay, you don't get hard for no reason. The reason I know that is because I didn't get hard for no reason. Oh, that sounds weird. I didn't get strong and fortified through no trauma or through no painful situation. You know what I'm saying? So it really depends on the behavior and the characteristics, because those are the things that we can honestly see. The rest, like the character and stuff, you have to get to know and understand the person in order to know who they are and what that means. But as far as a display, if a woman is soft and is like, hey, how you doing, and all that cute stuff, I'm like, hey, why she must have been through nothing. And then when I hear a story, oh no, you're actually resilient, but your behavior didn't change through learning through that said trauma. And what I've noticed is most of the time when women go through that trauma, their behavior does change because it's a defense mechanism. So it doesn't they don't encounter the same issues over and over again.
So I wanted to say something about that that part where I think Lady T said something about healing. Now, you're absolutely correct. There are people that heal and get through this, but in this community specifically, women are not healing. Let's stop the cap. Women are not healing. What they're actually healing is real, so I don't want to discredit that. And there are women that do. But Black women are not healing. They're medicating. They're projecting. They're channeling, but they're not healing.
You finna make them mad. Preach, Pastor. Look at the face.
Don't Black people, Black men and women in general, account
for the
lowest amount of people in therapy? Isn't that the stat? So it's like, where is this healing coming from?
Wait, you said what therapy?
It's Black people account for the lowest amount of people in therapy, like actively seeking therapy, but some of the highest Black female professionals are the highest in new prescriptions for psychotropic medication. Yeah, so it's like, no, you're not healing. They're medicating. They're finding ways to maybe cope with the day-to-day, but these deep-seated traumas that you talked about that they have from their childhood, they're not seeking ways to get over them. And all we got to do is go on YouTube, go on Instagram, go on anything talking about Black men, and y'all are slicing and dicing us all over the place. Doesn't sound like y'all healed to me.
Well, I agree, but I think that's part of the issue too. And that's why I was saying in terms of the resilience and setting boundaries, is that I think a lot of times, and we get it from both sides, but I'm going to just specifically speak to what you just said. I think a lot of times when women, especially in this space, and when Black women call out the toxic behavior or scarred behavior, whatever you want to call it, of Black men, is automatic that, see, it's something wrong with her. She got something going on. Somebody done did something wrong to her or whatever. It's always seen as a negative, and vice versa. I've seen that as well. There are a lot of behaviors between us as a group, between Black men and women, that are not productive, that are toxic. And we keep going into this cycle trying to blame the man for the reason or blame the woman for the reason, when the truth of the matter is that neither one of us are doing the work that's necessary to make a relationship or be in relationship, in a healthy, let me put a healthy relationship with each other. We spend so much time blaming one another for the condition that we're in instead of spending the time trying to fix ourselves so the conditions, the outcomes will be better.
That's real talk.
I agree with that. And I disagree that Black women aren't doing the work, because I'm around a bunch of Black women that are doing the work.
Talk about it, lady.
And I actually am one of those Black women that definitely advocates for therapy. Love, shout out to my Black therapist. And actually do like speed dating sessions between people in the community without health insurance and therapists to get people matched with therapists. So like there are people, maybe they haven't been doing the work. And to your point, I don't feel like the slicing and dicing of one another is helping anything. I think that is just trauma dumping on one another. But yeah, I mean, it's happening, and these points keep getting regurgitated and recycled and spit out, and it's just constantly perpetuating more divisiveness amongst us. But hey, what do I know? But I do feel like some of us are doing the work.
Go ahead.
And what Miss Taken said was absolutely correct. Like I really personally feel like we do play the blame game a lot. Like, oh, it's the women, it's the men. And it's like, it's us as human beings. What we got going on here? Who is dealing with their scars and their trauma properly? Because I know you guys are talking about women who are scarred and all that, but it's like we got men who are scarred too, don't even know how to handle their emotions properly. They're fucking punching holes in the goddamn wall. You know what I mean? What is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't know how to properly go ahead,
keep this focus on.
So Curves, this is
trigger. Been ready to pull the trigger. So
it's not that it's back to the question I was asking. You're saying punching holes in the wall and doing all of those things. That's, to me, that's feminine, right? Because if a man, that's what I mean by women have seen this issue of feminine men, but when you look at the problem, it's because there is no man. Right? He's learning these things, or he's not learning how to control his anger or his management because there's no father. And what I'm saying to you guys is, if he had a father to help him through those quote unquote scars,
where's the
father? He wouldn't. Where's the father? I don't got no kids. You asking wrong man. I can't tell you. I'm not Houdini. My dad was in my life. I don't know what to tell you.
My daddy was there too.
Sorry, I'm not the typical guy. I'm fortified. Anyway, all I'm saying is, this is what I was trying to hint at. Women have been making these complaints about feminine men, and when I asked the question, why do you think that exists? It's because most men are going through things, but they don't have the tools from a man who's been through those things to handle them healthily. What they do have is a mother who's probably scarred as well, trying to teach him unhealthily how to handle that. So it's you're asking men with no guidance and only a mother handling trauma how I think women would handle trauma. Unhealthy women. Let me clarify, because don't get on my head. Just
go ahead, Trigger.
I was just gonna ask this because y'all had this question. You had said this earlier about women not healing, or they're medicating, and then Cheeky, you just brought up the point of men not knowing how to do the work. And I think Trigger Mike brought up the point, at some point you get to an age where you become responsible for you, right? So for men, why aren't they going to therapy to do that work, to learn those tools? Because Cheeky just said that men don't have those tools, and they're trying to learn from, they see it if they're in a single household from their mom. At what point do you get to the age to become responsible to learn to develop those tools and go to therapy, even if you have to seek a male therapist because you said you want to learn those tools from a man? Then why not go to therapy to get those tools or learn those tools so you can be, you know, better in terms of development and get yourself together as well?
Because there leaves all the work to be done up to the women that they're dating.
Well,
no
are you gonna let me answer, Lady T, or are you just gonna?
I'm just saying.
All right, so
I'm just jumping.
This is I've been a nurse.
Go ahead, Lady T.
My thoughts ain't welcome here, so let's
go
ahead.
I was an administrator in a mental health hospital, so that was my first. I have a master's in health administration, and I was an administrator in a mental health hospital. So I've seen something like this from a professional. I've had professionals share this opinion with me. Naturally, men don't seek out verbal advice and, you know, seek to talk the way women do. So one of the answers to your question, Ms. Taken, is that it's natural. So when you're saying men seek out help in the way you're talking about, women will always do it in exponentially greater numbers than we do. So that's the natural part of it. The other part of it is that the men you're talking about, let me just preface this real quick. The 2020 census did a lot for Black men. It did a lot for me because what we realized is that Black women had the podium. Y'all were the ones doing all the speaking on behalf of the Black community. If let Black women tell it, Black men had no jobs. We all had 3 or 4 baby mamas. We all couldn't support ourselves and we had to live in our woman's house. We had to do all these things because that's what the general narrative was about Black men. Well, it turns out more than half of us under 40 have no kids. We all make enough to sustain ourselves and get our own apartment and all that type of stuff. And the narrative was completely wrong. So I say that to say this, Mistaken. The men that you're talking about that need to go seek therapy and do all these things, these are the men that women are choosing to sleep with and be with that had no business qualifying for a woman in the first place. And the reason why these men will never seek out everything you're talking about, therapy, healing, a better way to behave themselves, the tact and behavior modification tools to become a man of the house, is because they don't have to. Women are going to sleep with them anyway. Women are going to find them attractive anyway. They were never a man who had those principles, those values to do right by a woman, and yet they are betting everybody. So they don't have to do anything to heal themselves because y'all are supposed to find them unattractive. The men that are out here ready to do good to women, women don't find them attractive. The saying is 20% of the men are sleeping with all the women. The other 80% are ready to do everything you need them to do. They ready to join and bond and be in a family with you, but y'all think they whack. So that's the answer. These men are never going to do what you want them to do until you make their behavior undesirable.
Well,
all right. So does anybody want to add anything to this topic before we slide into the very last topic?
Pick that mic back up.
I have a question though. So since we're talking
Lady
about
T.
No, it's okay. I'm over it. Go ahead, Chan.
So I have a question. What makes these men undesirable? If only 20% of men are getting all of the women, like you're saying, and so basically all these kids are siblings. What makes these guys
the 80%?
The 80%. What is it that's making them undesirable?
Ooh, Shan, see, y'all be thinking that good women are only women that go through it, right? Let me go ahead.
Go ahead,
real quick. Let me. No, go ahead, Lady T. You weren't able to talk on the last one. You want to say something?
No, I was just laughing at your reaction.
Let me straighten up, okay? It's not just good women that can't find good men. It's good men that can't find good women because good men actually put pressure on women. That's the problem. We keep talking about people not healing from certain trauma, but I think when women realize that when a man is actually good and has standards, they actually have to not compete, but have to meet that same standard, right? A lot of the times I think women say, hey, I want this, that, and the third, right? And then they see a man that matches all of that, but he's also, he may be a cut above you as well. So you have to step your game up. And I don't think women trying to do that. It's the same complaint. It's the same complaint women got against men. Nobody trying to step up to the plate. But good men will say the same thing. Women are trying to step up to the plate because it's intimidating. It's much easier to go deal with somebody who doesn't have much. We can control them and do whatever you want to do because they don't have any real control or authority over you. But it's a little different when somebody's a good dude and they actually got that authority, and you got to respect it. I'm just saying.
A good dude. I'm interested to know what men think a good dude is.
And
the same thing that makes a good woman a good woman. That's what we're gonna do. Equality 2022.
I think more women are competing and trying to step their game up more so than the men are. And the reason is because of this narrative that there is a lack of available men. And so when you present this narrative that there's not enough men, and then when you add the not enough good men to it, I think in a sense it creates a situation in which women are competing with each other. And so that by nature is going to automatically force women to step their game up. Now, where I do think that they're stepping their game up in a wrong way is more so around the sex part.
I was about to say, you better.
Yeah, that's where they're trying to step their game up. It's I'm gonna have better sex with him. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And that kind of defeats what it is that they're actually trying to obtain, because men are not looking at them as a wifey relationship material as opposed to just having sex with them. So exactly. I think they stepped their game up in the wrong area.
So yeah, go ahead, Chan. No, go ahead.
So I have a question because y'all gonna hate me. I don't care. I think that so do you think that there are enough economically attractive men?
Oh,
yes. Hold on. I got this one, Cheeky. I got this. Okay. All right. So in my neighborhood right now, they're building
your neighborhood. We're talking.
Hold on. No, you gotta let me answer the question if you ask.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me preface it. In my neighborhood right now, they're building new sections. All right. I see Mexican dudes go out there every day. First of all, that's how houses get built so cheap. So when people say they should go back to Mexico, no, these people build houses quick as hell. All right. These men will go out and work for probably the equivalent of less than $100 a day. They will go home to a partner that washes their feet when they get home. All right. So when we are looking at what's economically viable for a man to qualify for a woman, black men have been surpassed that. Okay, been surpassed that. If the stats say, like I said, that black men are financially capable of taking care of themselves, that is actually a precursor for them being able to take care of a woman. It's not that they need to buy more food. Y'all can just share food. You don't need to buy a new roof. You can share his roof. You see what I'm saying? But for some reason, we get this moral and economic purity test where we got to be able to do all these extra things, where we have examples from Asians, Mexicans, South Americans, Africans, all these people that come here and condense their life so they can grow together. Black men, and it's on paper, go look at the census data, are more than capable of qualifying for a woman if she's willing to work with him. Right? If you want to live a life of luxury, go marry a man 20 years older than you who got money. But if you're willing to build with somebody, black men in America are perfectly suitable for that. Perfectly suitable.
So when you say financially attractive,
I said economically attractive,
which would mean finances. Like, can we stop?
well, economically attractive can also be economically competitive. Because we like men who are competitive.
Okay, so you say
you're a construction worker, but what about maybe you're a construction worker, but how about owning the construction? Like you be the boss of your construction. Why do you have to work with
somebody? So again, it's about a lifestyle more than it is about.
We're just telling you what's attractive.
Right. Hold on, wait. Shan, I understand. You're telling us what's attractive, right? And that's very subjective. But objectively, what Trigger Mike is saying is there's enough economic money. There's enough money for you to live under a roof, have things, may not be luxurious, but have things. But if you want luxurious things, expect for the population of men to decrease, because there's always going to be poor people, middle class. Majority of our economy is always going to be made up of that. So the thing is, here's the other part too. Even when they meet somebody who falls into the upper class, who is in the percentage that they want, they still don't know how to behave because their ego is inflated because of their college education, because of so many different other things. Women today feel as if they're better than men, and I'm not mad at it. If you got a chip on your shoulder because of feminism and the opportunities that women didn't get for 20 years ago, and you feel like you got a chip on your shoulder for that, by all means, have that attitude. But just recognize that attitude is going to be displacing other men away from you. So look, if you say there's not enough financially attractive men, the question is, what do you want him to make? And if it starts with 6 figures, that's already high.
So listen, what I say. So let me ask you a question. Men say they want fit, feminine, and friendly. You can be picky. You can have your preference. But as soon as a woman states, let me just say,
I'm listening.
I'm being devil's, and this is what I've heard in this space. This is not my real life. This is this space, okay? Sure. But as soon as a woman brings up economically attractive, economically competitive, it's a problem. You know, because we look in the past.
Let her finish.
Go ahead, Sean.
Because if we look in the past, people like to say, "Oh, your grandparents," but grandmama was big. Grandmama was not going to the gym. She was not. She did what she did. With a beauty standard that's placed upon women now was not placed upon your grandparents. So I think that we're all aiming for things that are not.
I'm listening. Yeah. I'm just listening.
We throw in health. My grandmother was overweight and she lived to be 98. I got a grandmother right now hitting 90 and she's overweight. So but what I'm saying is, if we're all going to this extreme of things, oh, she gotta be in the gym, she gotta be fine, she gotta cook cooking my meal and going to work.
Hold on, let her finish.
Let her finish.
So all of these things, and I'm not knocking it. If it's your preference, it's your preference. But you can't get mad if the opposite side also has a preference, even because they're both delusional to me a little bit. You understand? When I say delusional, I mean they all take above and beyond. It's exceptional behavior on both sides. Okay, so is it fair to say that if you want your woman to go to the gym, maybe she wants you to hustle a little bit more? Okay, there are things
that's a fair point. Okay,
yeah, there are things that she likes in a man, and there are things that men like in a woman. So I'm not saying you can't ask for those things, but don't get mad if the other side has a preference and you have a preference. Y'all both got preferences.
So not only are you're making a true statement, but here's where it goes off the rails a little bit. For a man to qualify for a wife, this is a world standard, global standard. He has to be able to take care of the woman he's bringing to his home and potentially the children that they're going to have. The average black man, set up by the census data, can do that, because the average white man can do that. The average Hispanic man can do that. All right. What if you look at all the female dating therapists and dating coaches that have quit their jobs and have given that last word as to why they quit, they say women, especially black women, unfortunately, have unrealistic expectations. All the women that win, when you look at who they win with the man they built with. The bond that women are trying to find it's not found, it's built. You were with that dude. He was making 30. I made $35K a year my first job out of college. I make a hell of a lot more than that now.
So Mike, so you were in school when you met your wife. So she saw you working on a goal. Okay. Do you think that in school, when you were in school, do you think that it was a majority of men? Was that a norm? Like, would you not say that there were way more women in school than there were you?
So
whoa, but that is actually not a that's not a precursor for a man having money at all. In fact, that's just a precursor for women having more debt for men to take on.
I'm not saying that.
I was about to say school is not.
So if we look at the stats, because we look at research, people who are educated make more over a lifetime. That's what the stats suggest.
No, wait, hold on, y'all. Listen, that is a stat. Hold on. That's a stat that all the data they pulled up to 2020 says. It does not account for the majors that women are choosing today, which are social science.
I did not compare.
10 of the top ones are 5,000 away from minimum wage.
You gotta allow dialogue. You gotta let her finish what she's saying, bro.
I didn't even bring women in the conversation. We're just talking about me.
Education.
When it comes to men, over a lifetime, it is documented that if you're educated, you make more. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't guys who don't have degrees that are not banking, but we're not going to play like they're the majority. Yes, you cannot have a degree. You can have a high school diploma and excel. You can be an electrician and excel. You can be a plumber and excel, but they're not the majority.
Okay, so Shan, I've got two things, right? Because the first thing you said was behave like your grandmother, but then we also know that the grandfathers, you know what I'm saying, they had kids across town. Seems like she turned a blind eye to something.
True.
So if what I'm saying is we can offset what you're saying based off the current time. I think when men say, look at your grandmother, there's other things, right? Like, yes, your grandmother may have been big, but that your granddaddy's side piece may not have been. So as long as he was taking care of the home and things was good and he had a fine little side piece, everything working. But in today's time, you're saying what you said was, why is it the expectation for a fit, feminine, and friendly, right, for men?
I say, why is it?
Oh, okay. So preference. My bad. I don't mischaracterize. So your thing was, why is that a preference for men, and why is it not?
That's not what I said.
So heavily.
That's not what I said. I said, why it's okay for women to not, it's okay for men to have a preference, but as soon as women state their preference, there's a problem.
Right, there we go. Thank you for restating it. So the difference between being fit, feminine, and friendly is none of those things are that hard to acquire, like finances. I don't know what jobs you guys have had in your previous, like I don't know what previous jobs you have or what you make now, but it takes a lot to make more money. It takes a whole lot more to make more money.
It takes a lot of work for a woman to go to the gym and do all the other things that she's doing.
Wait. Stop. Listen, hold on.
You guys are laughing.
I'm not laughing.
I find that to be comical as much.
I'm not doing this.
It doesn't take that much work to make that much more money. All you got to do is discipline yourself and use.
Hold on. Wait.
Only a woman would say something.
Wait. Let me do something. Wait a second. I didn't get a chance to finish the point. I just wanted to finish the point.
Okay, go ahead.
Talk at one time.
Okay, I just wanted to finish, right? Because I knew it was going to happen. I would say that it is substantially probably easier to lose or even maintain a weight than it would be to increase your finances by 10 to 15, 20%. I think because of what it requires. Anybody that's increasing their finances has a skill that required them an extreme amount of time to gain. Me saying, hey, can you stay fit, feminine, and friendly? That time, it takes a year for you to get in shape.
For you to get friendly and feminine, you should be that at all times.
Right. Okay. Sure.
All right, you guys, hold on 1 second. Can we podcast and scam likely? Do y'all
podcast, you can go first. I'm digesting this dust, but go ahead, podcast.
I'm about to go, you guys. I'll see you guys later.
No, you're not gonna go. You're gonna go. She's gonna run.
It's 11:30.
Nobody cares. Show some discipline.
We're about to wrap.
You're gonna pull a dust and run.
Little podcast, I have spoken. You must stay.
Oh my!
Only for a little podcast.
JR, where you at? Silicon Valley?
Sparkles behind his head.
Oh, they live their best life.
You know what I'm saying?
I know, right?
Mobile production.
You got something you want to add?
Yes. Shantae. Okay. Yeah. You know I love you like a play.
You know I love you too. Listen, nobody wanted to address the elephant in the room, and I do not mind doing it.
Okay. We addressed the elephant and told women they got to get in the gym.
So first of all,
I just got done with working out. That's what took me so long. I had to take a shower.
And to stop with the
I just had to put it out there.
So let me say this first of all. As always, it's good to see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jesus, Allah, and Buddha for bringing Lady Mogulette back. I missed you. You are amazing, but I need you to stop twirling your hair and being eye candy, and I need you to talk more, okay? Now, this is what I need. I need for y'all to understand something, right? I heard you say that grandmamas was big, and I'm not gonna lie. My grandmama was big. My great grandmama was big. My grandma on my dad's side was big too. But I can't recall them, right? Because I wasn't around. I haven't seen many pictures. But I don't think they was that big when they was in their 20s and 30s. And I think that's really the conversation that the men are talking about when they're talking about size, is that, okay, if you didn't gave me, because my grandmama had 10 kids, right? I think my grandma on my dad's side had like 6 or 7. If you done pushed out 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, okay, gotcha, baby. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, personally, I like cellulite and stretch marks, so it's okay. But I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I think that's what the fellas is saying. Okay, don't be so big so early, right? Let me enjoy you. Let me see you at your most beautiful stage for as long as I possibly can before we both say, okay, look, man, forget all that going to the gym. We gonna chill. We lived our life. We had our best run, right? And then the other part about it is, I think it is definitely way more easier, even as a person who needs to lose some weight. I think it's way more easier though to control your weight, and maybe possibly lose weight than it is to increase your income. Average money is average for a reason, right? Whether you look at blacks, Mexicans, or whites, ain't nobody averaging 6 figures, right? It's a reason for that. And you can't say it's because those people are lazy, because they get up and go to work every day. So you know what I'm saying? Average money is average for a reason. Most people don't have what I and JR have. You know what I'm saying? Which is that entrepreneur spirit, which is that the desire to run your own thing, to be in charge of your own company, can create and control your streams of income, right? Most people prefer to just be able to go punch a clock and go home. So most punch a clock and go home jobs not gonna be paying a whole lot of money. So I do think, while we can say, times are getting harder, the price of things just went up. I mean, I just went grocery shopping. I spent $200 and I had about $40 worth of stuff in the cart, right? So I get it. Things are going up. We probably need to try to, push towards having more streams of income versus trying to, put all our eggs into one basket. You got to get that job that's paying, $250,000 a year, versus maybe having multiple streams of income to increase your network. But I do think we have to be logical about this, and also say that a lot of the women who want to demand this, they just don't qualify for it, right? As men, we understand. I know right now, in my current position, I can't get a Lady Mogulette. Now at 24, she'd have been all over me like white on rice. But right now at 45, I can't get her, and I'm okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And we have to be willing to accept what we qualify for, because I think when we do that, it also motivates us subconsciously to be better versions of ourselves.
Can I really say one thing before everybody else starts talking? Didn't nobody say nothing about no 6-figure dude. I guess that's the talking. That's the no, we're not talking about 6 figures. Let's take that out of our head. Like competitive, just being competitive. It doesn't have to be 6 figures, because I know that some places it's hard to get 6 figures. I'm just saying economically competitive where you are in Mike. You have a problem with letting people finish talking?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Jesus.
Right, always.
I'm just saying, in your field, being economically competitive in what it is that you do. So if you're a construction worker, be the best construction worker. Own that shit. If you're a plumber, why are you working for Bob? You should have your name on that. That's your skill. You are the man at it. You get people to work for you. It's just that do what the talent that God has blessed you with. Be economically attractive in that area. You understand? It doesn't have to be, even if it doesn't give you 6 figures. It's something about
Hold on.
It's something about that's attractive about a man who is just good at what he does. It's
So
thank you. I appreciate that.
Shannon, you guys gotta slide into the last topic.
Yeah,
but before I just want to
say something to what she just said, because I'm so tired of our men having this imposter syndrome. Like he said, you know, not all men have the same entrepreneurial spirit as he and JR have. Like, why can't y'all? Like y'all be so quick to say women make better choices.
God. That nigga lying.
How about you guys become better choices? Stop.
Can I respond to that?
Hold on. Can I respond to this dust?
And acting like it's so hard for y'all to step up and be better versions of yourselves.
Please,
Lady Mogalet and Chan, how you gonna tell us go out there and you can get more? To come home to baby mama, you already said women gonna get fat and they make us cute. Why can't the woman lose the damn weight? How about that?
Let me tell you something about that man, honey, baby. He'll make you get in that gym. Like, I want to be fine for my man.
I didn't say anything about women not losing weight. I'm definitely.
No, hold up.
You already fine, Shan.
No, hold up. Chan was like, I
work out.
Somebody brought up the weight. She came with it's too much. We can't lose the weight. No.
I didn't say that. I said it's unfair for you to ask for your preference and she not be able to ask for her preference. It takes work, discipline for her to go to the gym, just like it's going to take you discipline to do whatever it is that you're going to do.
Chan, let me.
I'm talking about fairness across the board. You ask for the man to go get the money and go do this. You got your list of things you want him to do. Cool.
No, yeah.
You should explain that list while you're on the treadmill, while you're cooking the sandwiches. You do something, he do something. Not you cry victim, you eat and got a wig leaning off to the side, and then telling your man to go make some more money. That's all.
That's what she was saying.
That's what she was saying. Right, maybe I was
Well, hold on, y'all.
Maybe I missed something. I'm off.
Let me give a realistic response to this.
Y'all always missing something.
Yo, let me give a realistic response. Hold on, just real one. A realistic response. You keep saying men need to be better versions of themselves. That's exactly what most men are doing. What women have a problem with is that they want luxury up front. All right. The women that are winning in society know that a man plays a slow burning game. Most men financially peak in their 40s. So if you're going to stay with a man, okay, and he's working his way up, there's 8 billion people in the world. We all can't be the boss at the same time. That's the problem. Okay, so he's going to work for years. If you're not patient, you won't get to enjoy the fruits of that labor. That's what we're seeing from y'all is your impatience. It ain't you want it when you're 25. Then marry a dude that's 50. If you gangster.
I agree with that. I do have a problem with this younger generation wanted that fast money. And I wasn't speaking on luxury. I'm just saying the attractiveness of just being competitive. But when it comes to this new generation, I agree. Like I get there, they see bags. Oh, I want this. And I just feel like that is like the worst. Like it's just weird to me. But anyway, I do agree. If you are young and you have a man and he is on his purpose, he is working hard. I am an advocate for sticking beside that man and being a true helpmeet to that man, because you can be a motivator in his life to help him get to where he needs to be. And I'm a true advocate of that. So you'll never see me.
I personally don't think that money has anything to do with it.
We gotta move to the next topic. People have to.
Our moderator said we gotta get on.
Yeah, we do, because we've been on this for a minute now. Last topic is should a stepfather adopt his stepchild or children? Y'all can don't on the ones.
Come on, man.
They can't unless the biological parent gives permission, like give up their rights in order for them to do so. So
I know different factors. I had seen a video on Instagram, I think, and it was like this lady, she was pretty much throwing out all this dude's stuff because they had been together for a while. And I guess she
didn't want to
adopt her children. He didn't want to do it. So she's like throwing out all his stuff. He was like, she's mad because I don't want to adopt the kids. So I mean, the men can answer, women, whatever.
It's just not a.
Yeah, I don't think it should be an expectation. That's the thing. I think if it happens naturally and organically, then yes, because I've seen those videos too where, the child will ask, the step parent to be there, to adopt them. And it is so touching and stuff like that. But I think it has to happen organically. I do not think it should be an expectation of the biological parent to think that the step parent coming in should adopt their kid.
Baby, baby. I'm not your daddy.
Why we be kicking Billy off all the pins.
Yeah.
So we be kicking your ass
off. Curves. The thing is, again, is this aspect of men taking on extra responsibilities and extra risk. Right? It's already a risk to get into a marriage, right? Especially with the divorce rates and the mentality of women. It's already a risk to do that. It's already a risk to adopt kids that aren't yours just if let's say you get a divorce. Now you got to pay child support potentially. It's just you're adding so much risk on top of risk. And most men, if they're smart men or logical men, they're trying to mitigate risk and not add them on. Everything from the beginning question to now has just been about men adding more risk to their lives for the sake of a woman that they may potentially like or love. And I just think it's not smart. I just think it's a illogical decision that could backfire.
I'll be that baby daddy.
So I disagree.
Yeah.
Hold on, Drake, because you kind of long-winded. I disagree. First of all, I want to apologize to myself. They say you're not never supposed to meet your heroes. I just met mine, Lady Mogulette, and now I'm disappointed. She has hurt my feelings right now.
She is in love with you.
No, she has hurt my feelings right now because she said she ain't flattered, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep my link card to myself. Holler at me when you get hungry. So this is what I'm saying.
God.
I disagree though, right? I had a stepdad growing up. He passed away. I got his name tattooed on me. Am I saying that's the norm? I don't know. I would guess not. I would go with the men, and the men say no, so I'm gonna ride with the men, and I'm gonna say no. But I do think it's something to be said that growing up, being a stepdad was, even though we know that it was unappreciated in the long run, I do think that it was valued as it pertains to the community, because those dads being around and their presence being there, it kind of facilitated that need, that surrogate father, so to speak, for some of those kids, boys and girls alike, and kept them out of the streets, out of harm's way. I can't say whether it was a stepdad or the real dad in the household. I see a difference in the results from those households.
Boy, I know your daddy mad at you.
And I do think that we do have to kind of have like a community mindset if we're really talking about solutions. And if right now the average age for a Black woman to get married is 30, but the average age for a Black woman to have her first child is 22, subsequently, most women getting married got kids. So it's almost like we can't avoid it. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think that you should maybe just don't get with a woman whose kids you wouldn't want to call your own. But if you do, yeah, I mean, if you're going to play the game, bro. I don't say get in it, lay up with her, have sex with all this other stuff, but don't marry her, don't, adopt the kids, or don't do whatever is best for the union itself. If you're going to go in and go all the way, if not, just don't even play the game.
Go ahead, Sham.
I agree with that. I agree with the part when you're saying if you don't want to date, if you know you don't want to be a stepfather, then don't even entertain a baby mama. Like, that's stress, unnecessary stress on a woman, or getting her emotions involved in something that's a dead end. Don't even entertain it. That's one. But two, I'm not going to say I'm asking men to go out here and save women who had kids out of wedlock. I ain't saying that at all. But it goes back to what Mike was saying earlier with the help me. I really think that we need to do what everybody else does. If it's not, if we look at, we're always sitting here looking at other races of people. Why don't we go with the things that work? And that is, you find your mate at an earlier age, you become that help me, like Trigger Mike said, you find that one guy, you help him get to where he's going to go, then you reap the benefits later on when he gets there. And that way you don't have to worry about the pregnancy, because you're married. You know, you're married at a decent age, 23, 24, 25, and you guys are working together trying to build, because a lot of those relationships, though, those relationships that were successful, they started out young. A lot of people, especially on this YouTube space, y'all were married when y'all were 22, 23, 24, and you're still happily married. So those relationships seem to work very well. It's just that when people are out here in these streets and they're just doing, it's more time for the woman to be in the streets, having sex with all these guys, having unplanned pregnancies, more opportunity for the guy to be off of his purpose, because if he's out here dating, more than likely he's going to find a chick that's going to throw him a little off of his purpose. So why don't we just go back to the old school way of meeting your mate at a younger age? You guys grow together, keep each other on the right path, and go that way.
Facts.
Well, the country is going to belong.
People said no.
Yeah, I was going to say, this country is going to belong to the people who know how to keep families together, plain and simple. The middle class is about to be eradicated. All right. If you don't got a family unit, if two people ain't taking care of that situation, people are going to struggle, and you're going to realize that very soon. But back to the original topic of should you adopt the woman's kids? So woman should never ask. I don't think the woman should ever ask that he adopt the kids. The reason why is that it looks too advantageous. Men already take on too much risk. And then, you see what I'm saying? Too much risk for the marriage itself. And you should expect that he's already going to be financially responsible. So I'm going to be honest. If I was a stepfather and she's like, will you legally adopt the kid? In today's society, I'm going to be like, she's already going to, bend me over if we get divorced. Then she's going to rip my throat out if I adopt a kid. You see what I'm saying? Because you actually have to pay child support to the kid if you adopt them and y'all break up. So I don't think a woman in today's society, the way the laws are set up, unless you want to adopt a kid, do not do it. And the woman should not ask. Let it be a gesture from him only, because it's all downside for him. That's all I got.
I got a different opinion. I'm not one to try to regulate what a man should and shouldn't do as far as his household. I just think that, I agree. Don't be dating women who got kids if you had no intentions of actually being in some kind of family, if that's what she wants, and she puts it out there in the beginning. If you are going to take it on, take it all the way on. But I just think that the woman should have some form of compensation to level this out. The man's taking on, he's feeding now 2 or 3 people before he eats his first sandwich. Therefore, he probably needs more from out of this woman. And I don't care what she got to do. She needs to find it, because he could be saving them kids' life. Work out whatever is a fair agreement, put the family together if you can, and move forward. That's it.
So here's the thing about the question, right? And I do feel you. I can respect your perspective, Dusto. But I think the question already implies that they're married. I don't like shoulds, because I feel like that sets an expectation for somebody else that they may not be aware of. Like, I'm not really a fan of shoulds, right? But if they're already married, I would hope that if the biological father isn't active, or if it's okay with that person, I mean, I don't know. It just depends on the dynamic of the children with their biological parent. But if the stepfather is the dominant father figure, then yeah, I mean, it would be nice. It would be ideal, but that would be something that I would hope the couple would discuss prior to even going into that marriage. But I don't see anything wrong with it. He's kind of adopting them into his care by being married to their mom and being the head of that household anyway. So I don't know. I just think it's cut and dry with that, because they're married.
Well, what do you suggest if there's a monkey wrench with the other parent? Just your opinion.
Well, then I would suggest they keep it as is, and that's something that they probably would have already gone through, because at the point that those are his stepchildren, they kind of already knew what they were dealing with. They're married. You know what I mean? It's saying, the question was, should a stepfather adopt his stepchildren, which implies he's already married to the mother of those children.
And should he pay child support if they break up?
No.
Huh?
No.
If you adopt them, then yes, you end up becoming legally responsible for that if they do, if they end up divorcing. So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's the thing. So they're financially responsible.
Yeah. Once they're legally adopted.
Oh, in that case, hell no.
I thought I just changed my mind now.
They have the same rights as the biological parent.
Absolutely.
So once they divorce, is the same process.
I wouldn't do it.
I just had to change the heart.
Oh, go ahead. Did Scam already go? He wanted something.
Yeah, I went.
Let me go ahead and rip up these adoption papers.
So you're silly. When it comes to an adoption, like if there's a father involved, obviously that's not even an option. But I think so many people underestimate the child's role in a person's life when they get older. And sometimes that role even comes from a stepkids. For example, Lil Podcast sat here and said he had an amazing relationship with his stepfather. So what happens when you're old and you're not able and your kids have to take care of you? It's going to be how you took care of your kids that's going to reflect how they're taking care of you in your older age. So sometimes that blessing may not come as your own seed. That blessing could come in the form of, this guy helped me all of my life, and I remember that. And they're the more nurturing child. Sometimes your child ain't the nurturing child, but the stepchild may be the nurturing child who may be like, no, I don't want to put him in an older home, or no, I don't want to be, do this and that. And I say this as a person, and this is important because I'm from Alabama, and I've met both of my great grandparents and my grandparents. It has never failed where the responsibility has fallen on the kids. These are people who live older. I know some people don't have family members that live older, lives, but I would hope that you guys in your mind think you're going to live a long life. So if you do, you will want kids who respect you, who you've done well by, to take care of you and do right by you in your older age. It is an investment. It really is.
That's a great selling point. But does anybody on the panel know stepchildren that are taking care of their?
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
Like that is.
That's why I brought it up.
It's rare that they're taking care of the father, like just to begin with. That part is rare. Stepchildren, that's a tough sell.
It's rare to find respectful stepkids, like apparently ones that don't.
And of course it's going to be. And sometimes the kid in their younger years, they're defiant or whatever you want to call it. And that's not. I think that we're painting this picture that all kids are bad. Some kids have very good relationships with the father, the man in the house. So with that being said, you have to figure out how your household is ran. And I hope that you want to be the man of everybody in your house, including the kids. And again, if you do right by those kids, if that kid has that ability, they will do right by you. Think about how many people who make it and they shout out their stepfathers. You know what I'm saying? That man wasn't there for me. I've heard that before.
It's raising these children and biological.
I don't know who.
And by all means, I'm not saying this is a perfect situation. I'm not saying, drop a girl who ain't got kids for a woman who. I'm just saying, if you find yourself in this situation, do right by the. Even if you don't adopt the kid, do right by the kid. And then you will see it may be a situation where something amazing comes out of it, and that kid respects you, and you don't even understand how you've touched that child's life. I think we're so selfish in the way we do things. It's about me. Oh, my finances. Oh, money can't love you back. That money ain't gonna mean nothing when you in that grave.
Wait, Shan.
I agree.
You can't just say that and then the previous statement go.
I
is
said
that
what
financially
finds women
attractive?
to be okay. I said, you see, if y'all listening, I said what women are attracted to. What does attraction have to do?
No, Shan. You just said that money don't mean anything. But in the same breath,
when
just
you
the last
when
conversation,
you get older, Listen, I clearly look.
What part? It's all good.
I said economically attractive, competitive. It is something about a man who takes charge that it's attractive. It just is.
Can I say something?
And I clearly said you don't have to make 100,000, but when it comes to children, do you think your kid cares about you making money? No,
the mama do. The mama does. The mom does.
We're not talking about the mom. We're talking about the child.
The kids care about how much money you're making.
Can I say something? I agree with Shan. Can you hear me okay?
It matters.
I agree with Shan because both my grandparents made a lot of money, but towards the end of their life, the thing that they cared about the most, when they couldn't travel anymore, when they weren't the socialites that they grew up to be, they cared about their children and their grandchildren, calling them and checking and see how they were. When my grandmother was bedridden and she used to be the social butterfly, she used to have friends over, she used to be a chef, she used to travel, she was a socialite. And then when she was on a respirator and she couldn't move and she had arthritis, she was like, have my grandchildren call me. That was the most important thing. So if you don't have offspring, and I know a lot of people who can't have children and they marry people with children so they can fill that role in someone's life because that's something they're longing for. So I think it should be a conversation that you should have between you and the person that you're interested in if they have children, because it is something to take on the role of a father or a mother in someone else's life. And there's a book I'm reading about blended families, and it's really important to understand the different dynamics of it. So I definitely think there should be a conversation because I don't think that children should feel like they're unwanted or unloved just because a person enters their life. It should be a conversation. It shouldn't be like, oh, it's about money. If you really love that woman and you really love their children, it's a no-brainer. It's not even a difficult decision.
No, actually, it does make sense. But if man over here doesn't want a woman with kids and doesn't want kids, then it just is what it is.
Oh, for sure. We're not saying you should choose a woman with kids. We're saying if you find yourself in that situation,
no, I agree.
That is your life.
Please say.
And I think if a man marries a woman that has children, it should be a situation where he can raise those kids.
Do we have any super chats?
We do. I'm gonna pop them up for you. Okay.
All right. Cool.
You want me to read super chats? I'll read them.
All right. Cool.
Super chat by Black Lexicon. Let me throw a monkey wrench in here.
Man, you stop reading.
Stop reading.
All right, Black Lexicon, $10.
Now has
Let me throw a monkey wrench on this. That would eliminate any cap. Would you marry a school sweetheart who now has children, school sweetheart who now has children from a previous marriage? Would anybody do that? I wouldn't. All right, next.
Yeah, that's just you. I mean,
it's a long shot.
All right, Sherwin Thomas, $10. I agree with Trigger Mike. Cha-ching. Black women are not healing. Night after night, women called into KS show, and no one on this side of YouTube advocated more for therapy than him. That is fact.
I agree. Some women are not healing.
Ennis Luby, 4.4 euro. Shan/women, if had less questions, women would get more results. End of conversation. Also, you have moved goalposts from NYC to China.
Sometimes you got to go to China.
AL, $5. Thanks a lot. Y'all complaining about going to the gym for 30 minutes 3 or 4 times a week. For real? That's 2 hours a week. Damn.
That's how we feel about that extra hustle.
Man, stop.
He's putting in over 40 hours a week. How you like that? Okay. Rebellious videos, $2. Imagine getting 6 figs and she says you too short. Facts.
Poor baby.
It's what it is.
They always find something, won't they? All right, Congo English, $5. Trigger and Shane, great dialogue.
Thank you. Hold on for a second. Let me get rid of some of these stars. Okay.
Insane one, $2. Women have kids as an insurance policies for life. No.
Not for life, until they're 18. Well, yes, maybe.
No, I'm not gonna lie. That is a big topic where women have kids just so somebody can take care of them, especially their sons. It's very
of course, you want to vet the woman. Like, come on, we're just talking about in general. We're not talking about trifling women because we got trifling people everywhere. We're talking about if you find you a good woman, she means well by you. She's doing everything that you could possibly ask, and she's a good woman to you. and she just has a child, and that child is respectful to you, and she allows you to discipline that child, and that child is great. I'm not saying to do it immediately. If that child grows up and you've had that child since he was 2 and he's now 12, 13, and he doesn't have a father, it's
those services are not free.
Man, listen, you know why I really like you, Shan, is because a lot of times when you all were doing She Critique, I seen that you had like a similar spirit of feminism, like Lady Mogulette, but you still had the capability of being rational. Now let's just look at the numbers. Right? There's a high percentage of Black women who have children, right? Mm-hmm. What percentage of those women have multiple children? Then what percentage of those women have multiple children by multiple men with all of the protection there is for women to prevent pregnancy? I've been around 45 years. I think maybe once in my lifetime I had a woman say, let's use this female condom. I know young girls that don't even know female condoms exist. I got a lot of nieces, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to be honest about, the psychological reason behind women having kids, continuously having kids. I know a chick, and I know this is anecdotal, but I think it's probably more of a percentage than we actually want to acknowledge. It may be small, like 20 to 25, but I know a chick who all of her kids are disabled. It's obvious that it's on her side of the fence, but she kept having kids. Ended up with 6 kids. Why would you do that? You slow. Now you keep creating these kids with learning.
And they slow. You and that kid slow.
Listen,
that answers the question.
She's not catching on. She's slow. But check this out.
So we weren't making excuses.
Little podcast. That is a totally different conversation, and you're absolutely right. And I'm not taking anything away from what you just brought up, which should be its own title. But all I'm saying is, just don't. If you have a problem with single moms, don't even entertain them. Why are you wasting your time on a woman you don't even see serious? Don't even entertain them. Why talk about it? Just say that you're not where I need to be.
But there's a good reason for this, right? Because sometimes single moms look like you. Sometimes single moms look like Lady. Let me let you in on a little secret.
You gotta say no. You're gonna walk away.
Let me let you in on a little secret that you probably didn't know, right? When a woman looks amazing, right? Very few men are going to be able to say no to that, right? Because looks matter. You know how we know looks matter? Because when you all buy clothes, you go into the store, you try on everything you buy, you turn around, you make sure it looks exactly how you want it to look on your butt, you make sure it looks exactly how you want it to look on your back. You go through all of this to make sure every part of you looks so amazing. You cut off eyebrows, you draw some more, you put in some weave, you cut out some weave, you do all of this stuff, and then we act like we don't understand why men are going crazy, or why they have a hard time saying no, or why they will take a chance on a woman with kids. Look, we have a high expectation from our women. The Bible talks about, and I'm not even a religious person, but the Bible talks about a woman being a man's muse, right? So women are very inspirational to us. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's like you want things to be different. When I first had my first baby mama, my boy told me every single thing I was gonna go through. I was like, man, that's just you. I ain't gonna go through that. Boy, everything he said, right? Because there's some dynamics that you just can't avoid. And I think looks is one of those things. If you look amazing, we're gonna look past them kids sometimes, just hoping that it'll be different.
So my question is, if you said that men have high expectations of the women, my question to you is, as a man who you didn't, if you didn't want kids, why wouldn't you have high expectations for yourself first and foremost, so you won't put yourself in a position to fall victim to being a parent of a child that you didn't want? Because you have
your own child, or you talking about step parenting?
Step parent.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was just saying. Like you will look at it and you just hope that it's different because you're looking at this woman. You may see something in this woman that she might not even be able to see in herself. I can use my own situation. Man, my lady was a whole thug out in these Chicago streets, okay? Like, for real, for real. She got 2 sons, right? But we've been together for 10 years, 12 years, however long it's been, I can't remember. And at the end of the day, guess what? Now, way more soft, way more feminine, way more concerned about her boys' adult life than just trying to be their friends, right? She got rid of the weave. She got the sister locks. She don't wear makeup. She don't have to wear tight stuff every single day, even though she still wear the leggings, which I hate, right? But I'm saying, like, I had to go through a grooming process to get her to where she is now, and I still got work to do. But that's what we do. Either way it go, whether we get with a woman with no kids or a woman with kids, there's going to be a sort of grooming process to get that woman to be who you want her to be for you, right? It's going to be a molding process. The thing about the kids is, it's not, I'm not speaking for the majority of men. I'm saying there are some men who we look at the kids and we don't automatically see them as a burden. It's about their behavior. It's about whether the baby dad is going to be drama. It's about whether or not you got a handle on parenting. A lot of mothers don't. A lot of mothers turning their sons into son husbands, right? A lot of these mothers put their kids before they man. That becomes a problem. But those are things that so often we would overlook. Now we have voices in this particular space that are saying, fellas, don't overlook it, right? And I'm not mad at them. I don't try to silence them. I get why they say that, right? But I'm just saying, because I had a stepdad, for me, I just have more of an appreciation for the job itself.
Yeah.
Can I address this comment?
All right,
I got to start real fast. Just 2 seconds. No, actually, I don't like my voice. I think it's super annoying. I just had to. Every time I hear myself, I'm like, oh my God, my voice is super annoying. So no. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Curves.
All right. So no problem. This show solution. So with solution, you could pick any topic that we've talked about, mainly and stuff, follows and things. You have a solution now.
We ain't hear nothing you just said.
Yeah, she just said basically you can choose any topic that we've gone over. Do you have a solution for any of the topics that we've gone? Curves, you're frozen, but do you have a solution?
Damn, she is frozen, ain't she?
The one, let me screenshot this. Hold up. That's how we do it at work. When somebody frozen,
you don't be sitting like that.
All right, but no, if I share a solution, it's gonna cause drama, so I'm gonna shut up.
No.
Share your solution, whatever it may be.
I would like for you to guess. All of this drama we talked about. What do you think?
Don't have kids out of wedlock.
You know what? We'll start there. That's a good one. That's a good one. In fact, Shan, you're absolutely right. In fact, you're absolutely right. If you, and this is not even talking to anybody that's had kids or, you were in a relationship or a marriage and it didn't work out, you need to, like, at least what we're teaching, right? Because I say it all the time, throw this generation away. We done made our mistakes. We too old. These people not going to change. If you're 25 and older, you're not going to change. You are who you are. In regards to what we talking to the young kids about, the people coming up, we need to start taking more accountability. That's the solution. So when you're talking to your kids, I realize that, I got some friends, male and female, family friends that have children. And when they're talking about it, they're always basically leaving out the part where they messed up. It's always somebody else's fault. He did this. They're like I said, most modern women behave as if an effect has no cause. And if you stop doing that and tell the kids straight up, this is where I went wrong because I don't want the same thing to happen to you. We know that women are on YouTube and in these spaces putting on a brave face, but a lot of y'all are struggling. Not y'all specifically, but women in general are struggling emotionally, financially. You see what I'm saying? And you're only getting older, and all of the things about you being a more grown, more mature woman are going to come out. You're going to want to scale back at work, but you can't because you got a kid to take care of, house to provide for, food to put on the table, all the things a man was supposed to be helping you with. Share that with your daughters and especially your sons. Put men around them in their life to let them know, I need you to shape up this way. I need you to follow this example. And don't leave out the part where you messed up. It's going to work wonders for them. So that's all I
got. You muted.
Oh, yeah. I'll go ahead and add mine because I gotta go. As I was watching a really good show, and I stopped for this. But I wanted to add that I agree with Trigger Mike on some of the things that he was saying, really all of the things that he said. But I wanted to add, look, I stand by. I think that people should start marrying earlier. You should find you men, be selective about the women you put in your life. Find you a helpmeet. Make sure she's on the, she sees your purpose and she can help you get there. A woman can make or break you. Women, stop giving birth to these men who don't want to be. Just stop giving birth to kids from a man who is not even putting a ring on your finger. He does not deserve for you to carry his legacy. What else did we talk about? That's all we talked about. That's the most important thing. That's what stuck out to me. Yeah. So that's that's my solution.
Anybody else?
I'll go. You want to go? That's all. Go ahead.
Yeah. What was I say? Oh, positivity is just lacking across the panels and across the world. Just a good comment about a man or a good comment about a woman. It's just lacking bad. People hate each other. Can't build nothing like that. Which most people ain't gonna build nothing no way. But there's also so much repetitive about the modern woman. And at the end of the day, most of the men, you don't want them women no way. They're not gonna be what they said no. There's a small select group of women. Of course, there ain't but 3 of them per state that's left. But try to focus on them or the ones that are willing. But constantly, the dudes beating up the modern women, and then 3 minutes later in the DMs, oh man, I like them legs. Mm-hmm. No. And the women, the men been saying the same things. Look like something, but no, they keep eating. And just listen. But they just can't, it's just too much. And the circle just keeps repeating to the point where every time I click on the panel, it's the same thing. Oh, the system. All the wigs. Well, the wigs, that's me talking about the wigs. All these men ain't leading. All the same thing, same people on the same spots on the same panel saying the same thing. Then I got to come in and troll them. Come on, man. You're killing me. That's all I
got. So let me see. The first topic I came in on, ladies. This your boy little podcast, Beans. Look, man, y'all know I love y'all. That's why I'm doing this little docu-series about women in living color, right? But Big Mama was old with grandkids, sometimes great grandkids. So y'all got to stop being big mamas at 24. This ain't the look. I know they got the little, Lizzo chick out here making y'all think that this is all good. But it's not, because when you're that big, there's certain areas of your body that you can't reach when you're trying to wash, and the smell that comes from those areas is not really something that people want to deal with very often. So I'm gonna just say, no weaves, no lashes, no fake drawn on eyebrows, no BBLs, no BBJs, okay? French and natural manicures and pedicures. Be thick, not fat, okay? That's for my ladies. For the fellas, the black woman is God. I don't know what to tell you unless you're gonna get you a Puerto Rican. It is what it is. At this point, I get why we're doing what we're doing. I understand that we have to hold the women accountable and all of that, but some of us are gonna have to love the righteous ones. We're gonna have to highlight them. So we need a little bit more of that. And last but not least, shout out to my main man, Cheeky Banter. Cheeky Banter bought me a blender and a toaster for my new apartment. So I want to say shout out to you for that. I ain't forgot my brother. Shout out to Miss Taking Curse for Life, Trigger, Mike Dusto, my girl Shantae, the big homie JR for letting me up. And Lady Mogulette, I forgive you, but you need to unprivatize your Instagram so I can stalk you again. It's your boy Beans, aka Love Podcast. I'm gone.
You be selling a bad point, huh, lady?
All right. Well, shout out to you, little podcast. I appreciate the love. My solutions. Oh God. Okay, so I'll start with the fellas first. Guys, please get over this imposter syndrome. It's not that hard for you guys to earn an honest living. Get over this whole freaking lack of discipline, not governing yourselves, selling yourself short and making it seem like men from other cultures are the only ones that can actually discipline themselves enough to earn an honest income and be prepared for marriage, and actually be prepared for, like, before y'all go wanting to raw dog a woman, maybe you guys should be prepared just in case she has your kid and you want to have a future with her. I'll say that. As for women, please, like, I know in this day and age with this media, like, everyone's just over sexualizing, hypersexualizing everything. Marry before you carry. Like, stop allowing men access to your wombs that aren't valuing you or respecting you enough to even consider you wifey material. Like, that's legitimately what it is. Because if y'all ain't paying attention to the fact that when it comes to women, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. You have that responsibility as a woman. You should definitely be keeping your womb sacred. Like, despite the fact that for whatever reason, the power that comes with being a womb carrier is like trying to be diminished in this day and age. Yeah, you're a life carrier, so you shouldn't just be letting anybody up in there. As for all of us, like, I really do, first of all, happy 2023 to everyone. I do hope we have a more prosperous, happy, successful, love-filled new year. Just for us as a people, I really want us to do a better job of thinking for ourselves and not just taking everyone else's hypothetical negative messages and running with it and personalizing it, so that we could actually think for ourselves and not like just, take negative things that we may not have even experienced in our lives and apply it as though it's fact. I mean, the mission is to keep us divided, so hopefully we can fight against that. But that's my 2 cents and that's my advice on that. Solutions.
Well, my solution is, I guess, the same across the board for both men and women, which is level up. Level up in your healing, level up in your discipline, level up in your, mental, spiritual, emotional growth. And also in terms of leveling up with being able to interact in a manner that's going to be productive for those who you are in relationship with. Don't get so stuck on things having to be one way. Being open-minded to growth, and also leveling up on your discernment and decision-making skills, and in ensuring that the person that you say that you want, that you are leveling up in your behavior to attract that which what you say that you want in your life. That's all I have.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining the solution. I hope everybody has a great night.
Oh, and happy New Year's to happy New Year for everyone.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
I like this panel, man. We gotta do this again.
For sure.
Y'all have a great week, by the way.
See y'all. See y'all.
Safe out here.
Dust. No. Oh. Good night, everyone.